Hey, everybody. It is the Film Tangent Show. Welcome back. Thanks for your patience with us. We've returned this time with the full crew. We got Jack back in the house, back
I'm
from,
back.
back from, he was over out east in
Indeed.
Japan, probing the Godzilla store out there, just buying out all the merchandise. But he's back with us. And this is the mid-season finale,
Mhm,
and we're going to be watching Steven Spielberg's Jaws from
mhm.
1975. If you didn't know, apparently Steven Spielberg also directed Jaws 2, 3,
And
and
4.
Jaws: The
Yeah.
Revenge. Didn't know that. But
That's how
now we
that's
know.
he had to pull those strings 'cause that's the only way that Michael Caine missed out on winning, I think, his only Oscar ever. He wasn't at the ceremony because, for he pulled that, Steven Spielberg made him, do him a favor. And so he missed out on his big glory to be shooting Jaws 4
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
for Steven.
yeah. No, but we were talking about, in all seriousness, how Steven Spielberg did direct the second Jurassic Park movie, right? The Lost World.
Indeed, yeah.
Did he direct 3?
I
I
don't think
swear he
so.
did
I'm pretty
direct
sure he only
3.
did 2. I'm pretty sure he only did the first 2.
Let me see. Let's see. Jurassic Park 3.
That was directed by Joe Johnston.
Joe Johnston. Okay, what else has he done?
It's like a
Joe
name
Johnston.
I've never heard that guy before.
No, he did. What's he done?
Oh, he did Captain America: The First Avenger in Jumanji, the
Okay.
'95 movie. That's kind of it.
Oh, he did Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I
Only
thought that was
from the
Stuart
kids.
Gordon, but I guess Stuart Gordon just did the story for that movie. Okay, that's
Yeah, he directed it. Yep.
Oh, he did Jumanji
Yep.
with Robin Williams.
Hmm.
Oh shit.
Really?
Okay. Yeah. Jurassic Park 3 is okay. I remember that one. But The Lost World, dude, I hadn't seen that since I was a kid. Like Jurassic Park 2, I saw that when I was a kid, and I
That's the one
remember
in the
liking
city,
it as
right?
a
That's like when
kid.
the dinosaurs are like in the actual city.
Yeah, like the T-Rex is running amok
Yeah.
at the end. Basically the same format as King Kong. Cuz like the whole story there is like in 1925, like Willis O'Brien did that Lost World movie based on the what was it? Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's book. And then that was like the whole, story, basically stock story of explorers going to, an unknown, uncharted landscape that's populated by dinosaurs. And then they bring back a brontosaurus in that movie that runs amok in the city and eventually gets shot down. Then they just kind of copied that for King Kong, basically. I mean, it's like the same template.
Yeah.
And then Jurassic Park 2, they were like, well, let's do a Jurassic Park sequel, but it's also a remake of The Lost World, which is kind of weird. But and dude, I rewatched that a few months ago, and it's pretty bad. Like I remember like as a kid watching it and being like, "Oh, this one's cool. There's more dinosaurs in it, and
Yeah.
they're on an island, and there's no park. It's just in the wilderness, and like." But it's pretty bad. Pretty bad, dude.
Have any of them been good? Like since I guess the first one, have any of them been actually good?
3, I have a clearer memory of because I watched that. Well, I have a clearer memory of 2 now, but 3 I haven't seen since I was younger, but I saw it, like, multiple times when I was younger.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, 3, they would always that one just had, like, syndication for some reason where, like,
They would just show it on
TV
TV all the time.
stations. Yeah, it was on TV all the time. Like, there's certain movies that I just feel like when we were younger that were just playing constantly on TV,
Yeah.
and Jurassic Park 3 was one of those. And 3 is pretty good. It's just short. Like, it's like 90 minutes, so it doesn't feel like a real adventure. It feels like a weird kind of, like, small movie,
Yeah.
which I always thought was weird. Like, even as a kid, I was like, "This doesn't feel epic like the other ones." It's because it has, like, a 90-minute runtime. So it's like It's just not enough for an adventure film. But and then the Jurassic World movies stink.
Yeah, I liked, and you know this. Like I like is a maybe an exaggerated word here, but I've seen, I saw Jurassic World, and I saw the second one, and I did not like Jurassic World, but I did like the second one. Like I enjoyed it. I gave the movie like a 5, but my watching experience of that movie, I had actual like fun, and I was like giddy.
Uh,
So
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
You know?
I was with my shitty ex while watching that one, so
Yeah.
I can't really.
I bet she enjoyed it. But she was like, "Yes, let's go."
But I also didn't like the movie at all, so it was like just
It's a
2 for
double
2.
whammy.
Yeah, double whammy crap experience. But yeah, I do that new Jurassic World actually looks kind of
Yeah, the
interesting
one with
for some
Scarlett
reason.
Johansson.
The trailers, it just looks like higher quality than the other ones, and at least
Yeah.
they're not doing that whole like dumb park thing anymore. Like this one looks more like they're going kind of the King Kong route,
This
where
one
it's just
is
like a lost,
this is Jurassic
island or
World
whatever.
Rebirth. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
There was
that
one
one
called
looks kind of cool.
Dominion,
Yeah, I didn't see that one.
but that's like a
But
third one, right? Yeah, I've only
yeah,
seen
that's one
Fallen
where they.
Kingdom. Yeah, that's like the third one. I guess that's the third one in the Chris Pratt like trilogy of them.
Yeah,
Man, I
yeah,
really
'cause-
tuned out on Jurassic Park. Like, I mean, I think I saw the first one with Chris Pratt, and just I don't know. There's just I feel like there's just like I mean, I know it's not actually that many movies, but I feel like there's just it just seems like they're like ever present. Like one's coming out
yeah,
every year. Like it's just
yeah,
something you can't escape from.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. They're
Well,
one of.
Gareth
It's one of
Edwards is
those like,
directing the new
oh,
one
we got
though.
another one of these. Yeah, it is Gareth Edwards,
But
who
it's still
makes kind of
239.
boring.
Like a lot of conversation. I think this is kind of like one of those film nerd things where it's like this. The original Jurassic Park was 185. In its aspect ratio. I know that I'm probably talking like it probably sounds like I'm talking gibberish, just saying numbers. But the first
Oh,
one,
yeah, yeah. I didn't even know what you were talking about at first, but
the first
I'm
like
tracking now.
when Steven Spielberg did the Jurassic movies, his emphasis in terms of like the scope, right, and the presentation of the film was length. He wanted the movie to be, kind of like long instead of wide. And so they presented the movie in 185, which is boxier, so that things can be longer, just to kind of put across like the magnitude and the size of the dinosaurs in contrast with the humans in the picture. Um,
Yeah,
so that's been like a weird thing that they did, because after since the Jurassic World movies, I forget who I think it was Colin Trevorrow who started those movies. They moved to a wide aspect ratio, and people were like, "Why?" It's like it's fucking dinosaurs, whatever. But in seeing that Gareth Edwards is directing it, I thought, well, maybe the aspect ratio is different. The aspect ratio is the same. I don't know. I think there's something about people in letterboxing. Like I feel like if people don't see a letterbox on a film, they think it's not a movie. It's like, oh, it has to have letterbox to be a movie.
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know.
yeah.
That's the end of it.
It's the most like subconscious thing ever, too.
Yeah.
Like I swear to God, because there's been times that I've noticed like I don't remember what I noticed this in, but there was a movie I watched recently where literally one shot was letterboxed,
Hmm.
and then the very next shot was just full screen.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I can't remember what like the full um, thought process was, but I didn't notice it until way later, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Holy shit, that really is like a blink and you miss it kind of thing." It's so subconscious, but you're right.
It happens
Like
in a few movies.
you know what we used to
Oppenheimer.
do,
That
dude.
happens in Oppenheimer a lot. Oppenheimer changes the aspect
Oh, does
ratio
it?
throughout the movie.
Oh, dude, I didn't even notice once.
Yeah.
But in the words of Mr. Plinkett, "But your brain did."
Yeah.
Um, yeah. But you probably didn't even notice it,
Yeah.
but your brain did.
Your brain
Um,
did.
no, yeah. Uh, dude, so in high school, I was in a digital filmmaking program because I've mentioned it before on the pod, I think, but we had basically like a fine arts program, so it was like you could spend like you had to apply for it and actually get into it,
Mhm.
and it was like one of those, it wasn't really boarding school. We didn't sleep there, but it was like half the day you'd go there, and then the other half of the day you'd either drive back or take a bus back to your regular high school. So I got to I only spent 50% of my high school years actually in the hellhole of my high school,
That's
which
sweet,
was
dude.
kind of cool. But the other half I was spent in digital filmmaking class, which was basically like film school.
Yeah.
Like when we got to school, our film school in college, I was like, oh, just more of this.
Yeah.
It kind of was like a good, preparation. But anyway, I remember in that class we used to just like artificially just slap on a letterbox like on our short films, and it would drive our teacher nuts. He would be
Yeah.
like, "Fuck!" Like he was like, "Why are you guys putting this? It's cutting off people's
Yeah, it
foreheads."
makes no sense. Especially
And
because
we
there's
were
so
like,
many.
"But it makes it look like a
Yeah,
movie."
but that's the issue though, that there's so many movies that like that's like more modern. Like that CinemaScope like 235, like that's like a more like modern thing. But movies used to just be 185 or 166, which is like the cinema, like the Academy ratio. So when you see long movies and they have letterboxing on the sides, then that's like 166 or maybe 133. So it's like movies used to just be like that, So it's silly that it would be like, oh, we're gonna put letterboxes to make this look like movies. Like predominantly movies were not, wide. But whatever.
Acts like I fucking hate these guys so much.
Yeah, these
Uh,
fucking nerds that I'm trapped with
Yeah.
for hours every Thursday. Like, Jesus Christ.
It's like, why am I part of this show? What is going on? It's been 15 minutes. They're just yapping about like technical shit.
Yeah.
speaking of going nuts, so I was this past weekend. I flew out to visit some family, for some relatives for a graduation party, and that part was great. Like it was great. I love these relatives. It was like 100 and something person graduation party, but at one point I kind of like meet one of my second cousins, and then she brought her boyfriend there. So he and I start talking, and I'm like a few beers deep, so it's becoming kind of tolerable to mingle with all these different strangers. And I'm like I'm talking to this guy, and he's like just one of those people that just will talk your ear off for like 15 minutes. And I was like, oh shit. And I'm like, kind of asking him a little bit about like what he does, and he's like, yeah. It's like, I'm an extreme hobbyist.
What does that mean? What is that?
I was like, what?
What is
And
that?
he's like, I don't know. Well, it just means it means he's unemployed, Edward, is what it means. I'll give you the spoiler. So, dude, he goes, and the way I pay for that is I wrote this, he's like, I wrote this this progress journal for jujitsu. And this is what I did. I wrote it and I put it on Amazon, and I was like, oh shit. And so he starts talking my ear off about that for like 20 minutes. And dude, for some reason I'm like, I felt like such an idiot after I asked it, but I'm like at this, I think I'm like 5 beers deep at this point. So I just didn't put 2 and 2 together in my head that he was unemployed. Because he said, I'm an extreme hobbyist. And the way I finance all these hobbies that I have is I wrote this thing. So he tells me all about this journal, and he's like, oh yeah, and I sell it on Amazon for like, $40 and whatnot. And then he goes, or he tells me all this, and then I just all of a sudden blurt out, I go, so wait, so you make and this provides you with a full-time income? And he goes, and he pauses, and then he just goes, so anyway, the book is available on Amazon.
It's like selling you on the book.
Just like completely, just the biggest dodge. Just a fucking Keanu Reeves bullet dodge. Dodges the question. But dude, afterward, just kind of the main 2 families who were staying in this house together were kind of talking about him and whatnot. And they ended up pulling up his Instagram, and he has like a because the family we're staying with, they're my second cousin's like aunt and uncle basically, and they know him really well, and they're like, yeah, check out his Instagram, and they pull up his Instagram, and the first video is him just like pointing the camera at himself, like, "What up, Instagram fam? Like, here's a motivational message for Wednesday."
Yeah, we've known a few guys like that.
Oh,
Haven't we?
oh.
But I'm like, what is up with these guys too? Because I'm like, I was talking to him at one point, and I realized like, oh shit, this guy must be an Andrew Tate listener. Like this red pill shit is getting out of control, because at one point we're like standing by the door, and it's like 95 degrees out. Like it is so fucking hot outside for this graduation party. And I'm standing by the door talking to him, and they're like getting ready to leave. And my cousin, his girlfriend, walks up to him, and she goes, "Hey, can you click the button on the remote to turn on the car and get the AC going?" And he just goes, "No, we don't have to do that." And I'm like, "What? It's like this whole like Andrew Tate, fresh and fit like trend going on these days, that like somehow like listening to or acknowledging a request from your girl is like makes you less alpha or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. Weird times we're living in,
I don't
man.
know, man. Like, with stuff like that, I'm always just like, uh, every day a little bit more. And I've said this. I think I've said this when we're in college. Because every day I kind of feel like whatever I was doing and saying in college, a lot of that has kind of like um just become concrete in my
You
head.
prophesied it. Yeah, you
Yeah.
prophesied it.
Yeah, because it's like a lot of this stuff, and the issue with me with all of these guys and everything is that a constant thought that I have, outside of everything, is that I just feel so alienated.
Yeah, yeah.
I
The
don't know
Mr.
if people.
Krabs meme.
I don't know if people say what.
The Mr. Krabs meme.
Yeah, I
where
really
he's just,
do.
like,
I
in a
don't know if people
swirling
listening to this
landscape.
relate to that, or if people listening to us listen to us after they listen to Andrew Tate, or it's like, well, I don't know. I actually don't have no idea who our audience is. Audience, comment and say something so that we know like more or less who you guys are and what you believe. If you are one of these people, we don't need you here. You can go somewhere else. This is a small community as it is. We don't need
One of these
asshats.
fresh and fit listeners.
Yeah, we don't need anybody who listens to those people here. I mean, unless you're willing to change your opinion and be an actual functioning person. But that's the thing, dude. That it's like when I know that people are out there walking around who have these like thoughts and beliefs in their heads that are put there by imbeciles, by people that would have in a different lifetime just like rotted in a corner of the world, shouting, like at passerbys, people ignoring them. But because everybody has a platform, including us, everybody has a platform, and people are following them and like listening to them and believing that what they say is true as if it was gospel. This stuff like that is ridiculous to me. Like that thought is ridiculous to me, and it disappoints me deeply. You
Yeah,
telling
yeah.
me this story like disappoints me, hurts my soul. That this is like a thing that happened, and people walk around like this and behave like this towards anybody. Not necessarily even just women, anybody. Whatever. Let's watch
Well,
Jaws.
there's a weird subset of high quality girls these days that just seem really attracted to dudes without jobs too.
Yeah.
And
It's
that's what
weird.
I was talking about with Jake. Was I was like, it seems like through friends and through like sisters and stuff, like and through social groups, like seems like the amount of like unemployed guys who are like in the dating pool seems like a very like, especially dating apps. I think dating apps is where they're just like through the roof,
Yeah.
like just putting their
Well, they
everything
got all
into
the
their
time, don't they?
profiles, and like, yeah, they're just sitting there all day. They probably got, premium on their mom's credit card. They're just swiping all day long, trying to figure out where they're going to get their next meal. But I mean, it seems like a normally large amount of guys.
Wasn't there that one guy who what tried to pull one over on a girl we knew? He was like, "Yeah, I travel for work."
Yeah,
She was
and he
like,
was
"Oh,
an
what do you
Uber
do?"
driver.
He's an Uber driver.
But you have to. I have to give props to that guy because you have to sell yourself. You have to.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to have a sense of humor, and you have to be able to, because you have to, in this dating market, you have to be able to sell yourself in some way, shape, or form. And if that's all you have going, that's all you
Yeah,
have going on. You know, props to that
yeah.
guy. I don't want to shit on anybody for doing stuff like that, but it's to me, it's just any of the Andrew Tate's listeners and any of those people. It's like, come on, man, you do better.
I'm okay with them sticking around, but I think I would just be surprised if they listen to this because we don't just throw out sound bites constantly
Yeah.
like those guys do. I don't think. Oh God, dude. Oh my God. Are we a bad podcast? Holy shit. Yeah, Jack, I was saying in another episode that we Film Tangents is immune from criticism because if anybody said we're both a comedy podcast and a film review podcast. So if anybody says that we're not funny, we can just say that, well, we're just
We're just doing
reviewing
film review
films.
criticism.
And
I
then
mean,
if they say we suck
yeah.
at film reviews, we can just be like, well, we're just goofing. Like it's a comedy thing. Like,
We're impervious to criticism, dude.
Maybe
but
we just
anyway,
have to say something absolutely like outrageous, like once every episode. Just get a little clip in and just post that out.
Yeah, dude,
yeah. At one point, this
we'll blow up that way.
at this
And then people
at
will
one
come up
point
to the
this guy
podcast and just be like, "Oh, they're just talking about movies. What the hell is this?"
at one point this guy is talking about how they're raising chickens at their house or whatever, and then later on, I guess my dad asked him they were like petting the dog or something, and my dad was like, "Oh, do you have a dog?" And he was like, "Nah." He's like, "Nah. I'll get a dog if it can. I'll get a dog once a dog can produce 20 grams of protein for me a day." Because I guess he eats the chicken eggs or whatever,
All right,
and it's just like, ooh.
good for you, buddy.
It's just he kind of you know what he kind of reminded me of, Edward, that guy in college who I will refer, the guy that we ended up just calling.
Yeah.
we used to say his name funny, and it just turned into
a gibberish
sound that we would make.
Yeah, it turned into a sound.
Yeah, because we would imitate his voice and say his name, and then it just turned into. But I think it spread at one point, because then I remember the two of us were sitting next to some girl at school who wasn't in on that joke, supposedly.
Yeah.
And then you and I looked at each other. One of us went,
yeah.
And then she looks at us and goes, "Oh yeah, did you guys hear that he did such and such and this and that?" We were like, "How do you fucking know who we're talking about?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Holy shit, this spread somehow."
Yeah. A sound, dude.
If you're gonna have an inside joke, you gotta. Moral of that story: if you're gonna have an inside joke, you gotta be willing to let it spread.
Yeah. Well, it had some kind of butterfly effect.
Yeah. But anyway, before we get the movie started here, I just wanted to talk about something that I saw in the news today that shocked me. Jon Jones, the UFC fighter, is retired. Did you guys hear this?
No, I did not. This is the first I'm hearing of it.
He retired.
Wait, who did it? I missed
it. I think that's a power move.
Yeah.
Who retired?
Yeah.
Jon Jones.
Oh, really? Oh, good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But apparently now there's he did it, and then a couple days later some legal thing came out from I think it's from his previous hit and run or something. I really need to read up more on this stuff before I talk about it on the pod, but
good on him, because that means that he basically retires as the GOAT, doesn't he?
Yeah. It's kind of disappointing though. I really was hoping that he would fight Tom Aspinall, because the context for, I guess, can you guys hear me, by the way?
Yeah.
Yep.
My frame rate's dropping a little bit. I guess a little context for you guys non UFC fans or kind of casual. He basically, Jon Jones, is he was the champion, And then this guy, Tom Aspinall, who's like much younger than him, um, came up just through the heavyweight division, just like a wrecking ball, dude. Just I don't think he's even none of his fights have even gone past the first round. They're just all like first round knockouts.
Jeez.
And he's a British guy, real class act too. Just a great, he's like a very people's champion type guy. He seems very likable. And he became the interim champion. And so the huge talk of the town with the big buzz in UFC was like, well, we need these guys to fight so that they can unify the titles and we can get one official UFC champion. But people kept asking Jon Jones about it, and he kept ducking and saying, and we kind of talked about this a little bit on the, I think it was the Home Alone commentary after we were talking about the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fiasco.
Yeah.
How Jon Jones was basically, he was kind of just saying like, yeah, I mean, I don't really want to fight dangerous up and comers. I want to fight like I want to have legacy fights. And it's like, well, the problem is, dude, like you have the title, so you kind of need to defend it. You can't just say to your interim champion like, yeah, maybe you'll have the honor to fight me one day. It's like that's the interim champion. You guys got to unify the title. Like we need one champ. But I'm disappointed, man, because over the past few months it's just been constant. It was just constant, talk of those two fighting. And trying to set that fight up, but Jones retired now, so it's not happening. He retired, but he retired undefeated.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, good for him, dude. Like that's like the one thing nobody can take that away from him. Like everybody else, like retired and they lost, except for Mayweather, but that's boxing.
Yeah.
But good for him. Good for him. Especially because I think probably in his heart of hearts, it was like this guy's probably gonna beat me.
Yeah.
There's probably like a good chance that fight was gonna go the distance, or not even the distance. He was gonna get knocked out, And this way, he just goes out clean,
Mm-hmm.
Good on him. He didn't need to. He didn't need to.
I
kind of
think the same thing. I think we see a lot of like fighters, athletes, like these days, like. Especially, if you're talking about like Jake Paul type stuff, like, pushing past like their prime and trying to, keep on fighting and kind of soiling their legacy. Like, I really hate that has kind of become mainstream. And I get it, like, get your bag, I guess. But I respect the hell out of somebody who's willing to step away, at a good point in their career and know when it's time to call it quits, regardless of what you will say, if it's dodging a fight or I respect the hell out of it. And I think that, people should, something about, looking out for your career as a whole.
Yeah.
Is just a class act and a good business move.
Yeah, especially,
and
I think especially when you look at it from a perspective of legacy, right? Because the history books will never remember like, oh, he retired and he didn't fight that one guy, Like what the history books remember is the win-loss record, And if he fights this guy and he loses, all that there will be there in his record in the history books is, oh, he lost that one fight,
Yeah.
But if he doesn't fight that guy, nobody gives a fuck. Like in the history books, it's gonna be like, oh, that guy was undefeated, he was the best in his time, So I think in terms of like legacy and in terms of like what's actually gonna be remembered from him, this is probably the best move. He doesn't gain anything from doing that. He can, like in terms of like money, even financially, he can probably just do exhibition matches, and even if he loses that, it's an exhibition, it's not in his official record, and he can make money out of that.
Yeah. Yeah, yes and no on his legacy, because if you look a bit closer at his legacy, and this is a bit more niche because not a lot of kind of casual UFC fans really know are up to date on all the details, and I didn't really even know this until recently as I was kind of looking into Jon Jones's history, but his legacy is tainted. Not only we all kind of knew about the the him being stripped of the title, whether it was from like legal issues or failing
Mm-hmm.
doing like cocaine or whatever.
Cocaine.
But he did have a fight coming up with that Daniel Cormier guy at one point. I think it was the second fight, and then that fight got pushed because I believe he did test positive for doping.
No, that's
Like
pretty bad.
performance
That's a stain in his
Yeah,
legacy. But he beat Cormier anyway.
yeah, he did. But some people, I think there is some argument there of like, well, was he still kind of being helped by the performance enhancers, even though that time he tested positive?
Yeah, for
Like, you
sure,
don't know
for
how
sure.
long
No,
the
I think,
effects of those
I think
last. Like,
that
it's tough.
definitely adds an asterisk to his
Yeah,
legacy for sure.
But like, how many of those
yeah,
guys are really, truly 100% clean
Well,
the
it's whether
entire
you get
time?
caught, isn't
Anyways,
it?
like yeah, if you don't get caught, you can't really like hold it against them. But I just,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's tough to say because I mean, yeah, there's a lot of bullshit. I mean, because like you know, you look at a UFC fight, you look at like Brock Lesnar, for example, back in the day, it's like, the UFC's all like, no, he's not doping. And Brock Lesnar's like, I'm not doping. I've never failed a fucking drug test. And it's like, but you look at him, it's
just
like,
look at the guy.
it's hard to believe. I mean,
Yeah,
it really is hard to believe. And just in case you folks didn't know, this is not an MMA podcast, so we're not speaking from a place of knowing jack shit about this stuff. I'm a casual. I'm like somewhere between casual fan of the UFC and hardcore. Nah, no, I'm casual. Like, let's just call it what it is. I'm a casual UFC fan. That's the closest I get to like being a sports fan is
yeah,
like UFC fights, and even then, it's just like the fights that I care about. Like, if Jon Jones did fight Tom Aspinall, you bet your ass I would have paid top dollar for that pay per view.
yeah,
But anyway, yeah, it kind of sucks because now my again like that's my my interest in the UFC has now like dropped a few notches because
yeah,
of that.
yeah. You're gonna
Because
have to
it's
find
like, well,
somebody
now,
else. That's what happened with me
yeah,
with tennis,
yeah,
where after I retired a few years ago, I was like, what now? And then I've kind of had to reassess my relationship to the sport.
yeah. Because now it's like, well, what now? Okay, so Tom Aspinall has been named the official champion now, and it's like, okay, so what? I'm just gonna watch him do a first round knockout on the next number one contender. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. They're gonna have to really promote the hell out of whoever he fights next for me to give a shit. Um, because yeah. Uh, anyway, we better get on with this because I didn't realize what time it was until now.
Let's do
So
some Jaws,
let's
boys. We
yeah,
can
let's
talk
do
Jon
some
Jones over
Jaws.
over Jaws.
Yeah, exactly. We can talk about all this shit while we're watching the movie. All right, let's get into it. And everybody, this is the mid-season finale of Film Tangents. So I guess a little housekeeping. We're going to be off for the month of July and probably be back. We did talk about this before, but in case you didn't hear the last episode, we're thinking we'll probably make a return as far as when the episode's dropping on either August 11th or August 18th.
That's right.
That's the goal. You guys will know more as we get closer to that time. But yeah. All right, boys. Let me know when you guys are, have it pulled
Yeah,
up
I
and
have it. I have it
paused
all
at
set
the.
up. I'm ready whenever you boys are ready.
All right, Jack.
yeah. Apparently, I'm thinking I might have to rent this thing because looks like the Peacock that I'm signed into has ads, and I don't really want to
Oh,
fight that for the entire time. 'Cause it seems
yeah,
like
yeah.
a pain in the ass.
You don't have to keep
Add
getting caught up with
add
everyone.
pause.
Yeah, I don't really want to do that. So just give me 1 second.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Well, Edward, while Jack's doing that, anything you want to get into or tell the Film Tangents audience?
No, audience, I'm taking a bathroom break. I'll be back in 30 seconds.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh. But yeah, everybody, we appreciate you listening. If you listen to Fresh and Fit or Andrew Tate, it's fine. You can still be here. It's all right. I don't agree with my co-host on that, but you can stick around. I just don't think you should listen to them. I think they're going to poison your mind. But yeah, it's gonna be a good summer. Oh, Edward and I are actually hanging out in person this weekend, so we're having a little film tangents in person reunion. So that'll be good. I guess comment below. Let us know what movie we should see in theaters if we do end up going to see something in theaters. I want to see that new 28 Years Later movie. That looks pretty good. And I think the reviews were pretty good too.
I've seen some memes about that movie. I don't know anything about it though.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's got 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. There we go. Oh, only 65% from audiences. All right, Jack, let us know when you're ready.
All right, I'm ready now.
All right, dudes. Edward, you ready for the countdown?
Yeah, you're counting down from 10, right?
20.
No. We'll do 5.
20,
5 is good.
19, 18, 17, 16,
Right.
15, 14, 13,
Stop.
12, 11,
Damn, might as well
10.
finish now.
Huh?
Yeah, just finish now, actually.
Yeah, it's too
On
late.
one.
Oh, we can do it for
9,
Okay.
8, 7,
7,
6,
6,
5,
5,
4,
4,
At 0, right?
3,
3,
2,
2,
1.
1.
0.
Nope. Edward, you're just going to be a few seconds behind because of your
Fancy.
immaturity.
My shenanigans.
God, just so immature. Unbelievable. All right, we got the Universal logo here. When was the last time you boys saw this movie? It's been like 2 years for me, I think.
It's been a while for me. I think the last time I saw this, honestly, has to be like way back 2019, 2018, I think. I saw it projected
Oh, wow.
on like, I think 35. I think that's the last time I saw this in school.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, there's the sharks. POV. You know what's funny? One of my great guilty pleasures, especially during the summertime, are those old 1950s giant monster movies.
Yeah.
The Godzilla, the American, Godzilla copycats that they made in the 1950s. All those atomic age things. And I was watching The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, which was actually the inspiration for Godzilla. And that movie begins the exact same way as this movie,
Really?
with the beast's point of view
Under the ocean.
going through like ocean kelp.
And that does
Yeah.
that precedes this movie, right?
Oh yeah, 1953.
Spielberg, not so original anymore.
Nope. No, Jaws is very much a descendant of like those 1950s creature features. But Jaws, like the thing that Spielberg did with this movie is it's just a cut above most of those, where it's like you have actual like great character development and a great story. And most creature features don't really get that right. They're just like,
yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, there hasn't even been like one good shark movie,
Since
shark
this
horror
one,
movie since this one.
Yeah,
like pretty much.
Admittedly, for me, I haven't seen like the Meg and stuff like that, and the Shallows, or the one with
Sharknado.
Blake Lively, huh?
Sharknado.
Is that the one with
Dude,
Blake
that was
Lively, the
one-
Shallows or something like that?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that either.
Look how easily this guy is gonna get laid. Apparently thinks.
He thinks.
All he did was look at her, and then they just ran off. How easy was that?
Yeah, right. That dude, but that's the thing. He has major riz. That's the thing that in this instance, that's what you're lacking, Jake. This guy's riz.
Kind of looks like, yeah. Damn.
Oh, but he fucks it up.
He does. Look at him. She goes in there, and that's the thing, man. That's the thing. Maybe he could have saved her life if he had been not a doofus. He could have saved her.
I don't know about that. What would he have done, dude?
He would have been
What's
like,
he
oh,
gonna do
let's
against
not go swimming. I'm not a good swimmer.
Beerus?
He could have just been
Oh
like,
yeah,
made a convincing argument. It's like if we're gonna make out, let's do it here in the land. It's no reason to get in the
that's
water.
true.
And she
That's
goes in
true.
there, and
Let's
then
keep the pH on that thing down.
Yeah, he would have. They would have avoided Beerus. Beerus's jaws. That's the name of the shark, Bruce.
Bruce,
That's what they call. Well, that's what they called it on set. The mechanical shark.
really,
Yeah.
it would have been great. I feel like there should be like a series of like somebody should make a YouTube series. Not me, but if you do this, then credit me. This is my idea. Somebody should make like an animated thing like Robot Chicken, where it's just like alternative endings, or like what if the movie never happened? Like what could have prevented everything from escalating to the point that it did? Like if Walter White like got the gig and his friends didn't
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like screw him over. No, there's no Breaking Bad.
Yeah. Oh, people have made videos like that
Yeah.
where I think like they do like a cut where Hank's like, Walt, you should come along on a ride along with us sometime or something, and then Walt like sees Jesse on the ride along, and he's like, Hank, come here, and then it just like goes to the credits and plays like Baby Blue.
I love stuff like that.
No Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Meanwhile, this poor lady is being eaten by a shark.
Yeah. So apparently,
Terrible.
and film buffs know this already, but apparently that scene right there was originally you were supposed to see the shark, but and quite a bit. But on the set, the mechanical shark rarely worked. So Spielberg was forced to just film tons of scenes where the shark's presence is felt, but you don't actually see it.
But how iconic
And the
that
movie's
ended up
way
being,
better.
huh?
Hmm. And now they just call that's known as like the Jaws effect, where it's like you just don't show the monster.
Yeah.
And of course, it had been done before in previous movies. Like a lot of those 1950s monster movies did that. But again, the reason they did that in those 1950s monster movies, like where you have scenes in some of the lower budget ones where you don't see the monsters, because they just didn't have the budget to show it as much as they wanted to.
Right.
But it made it better. Because
It's
a lot of times, like I was watching another one that I watched last night was the Black Scorpion from 1957,
Yeah.
and like it was animated by Willis O'Brien, the guy who did King Kong, and the stop motion scorpions look great, but then they have other shots where they have like these like prop heads of the scorpions, or they have like they use like silhouettes of real scorpions and just like superimpose it onto like a crowd of people running, and it looks awful.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm watching it and I'm like, you guys should have just scrapped those and just had shots where you're not showing the scorpions, and it would have been better.
It's interesting though
And
when
then
you think
just-
about it, because that if you had been in the set for this movie, obviously this movie is iconic now. But I bet that if you
Yeah.
were in the set, Steven Spielberg was probably pissed.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
pissed and shouting at probably the guy who like the mechanical operators of the shark. Like, you guys are incompetent. Ruining
Oh
the
yeah, it
movie.
was apparently a nightmare. I think the crew nicknamed it Flaws.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's magical, but it's also a testament to just being creative, right? Like the cinema, like the spirit of cinema and creativity and being resourceful. Because I
Yeah.
think, go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing with you. Go on.
Yeah, because I think when we look at a lot of these like old movies, now obviously everything's CG, so now there's no worries. It's just like, oh, somebody's gonna make it. Now it's become such like a thing to just be like, oh, we'll edit it in post, or edit it in post, we'll do this in post. But you look at movies like this, and they had to actually be legitimately resourceful and try to like figure out like ways. So
Mhm.
many stories, not even from this movie, but just so many movies, like so many of these like iconic like 60s, 70s, 80s movies, 90s movies are just stories of filmmakers getting creative with their limitations.
Yeah.
Not a lot of that these days, sadly.
No.
But I think it was interesting how they caught from, she gets eaten by the shark, and then we see the shot of the guy lying on the beach, and then we cut to I forget the name of his character, but what is it? Roy Schneider, is
Brody,
that the
I
name of
think.
the actor? Martin Brody in the movie. We cut to him, and he's like waking up, him and his wife waking up, which I feel like the implication is just like this is what could have happened for that guy. Like when he got up, like his wife was very happy in the morning. I think that was interesting. The transition from that to that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I love the format of these like older creature features, and the best horror movies still use it, where it's like you just go forever without actually seeing the monster, but you just feel its presence for, you know,
Yeah,
30 to 45
the
minutes
impact
before
of
you
it. Which
actually see it.
there's a movie
Yeah.
that we watched that you didn't like, which when we watched Cure, I thought Cure was excellent at doing that. Remember that Cure, that horror
Yeah.
movie? But
Yeah.
obviously that movie was like more so. It was this kind of over this hanging cloud of mystery and tragic stuff happening in that movie, and us just kind of looking for the answers for that. I
Mhm.
thought that was like excellent. I thought the movie was excellent. Just how it applied like this kind of formula to seeing characters be affected by like an entity that's in the town or in
Yeah.
their lives or whatever. Um, but you're right. Like we don't see this shark, but everything these characters are doing are because of the things the shark is doing. Like the shark is like causing all these like reactions among the town folk.
Just realized I don't have the subtitles on.
Yeah, I put them on like 2 minutes ago.
Turn on subtitles. See if my Siri will come through. Yeah, I remember watching interviews with James Wan about the his movie Insidious, and he specifically cited Jaws. I remember as an influence in regards to the red demon in that movie and how they sort of built him up, you know. And I felt that really came through in that movie. Oh shit! Did Edward freeze?
Yeah, it looks like he did.
Uh oh. Think we're suffering some Jaws effect here. The Edward's been decommissioned. I'll text him. Oh shit. Oh no, he lost power. Oh, that sucks. This might be an Edwardless podcast. Oh shit.
No.
That sucks.
Oh,
Yeah, you're stuck with just me now, dude.
oh man. Might come hop in your bed and we can cuddle while we watch the rest of this.
Ooh, sounds great. Dude, I remember we watched this together a while back. Oh, here he is. Oh, he's
That was
back.
not long at all.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Oh,
probably
you're
very
muted.
Can't
briefly.
hear
My
you.
apologies. Have you guys kept going? I'm still have the movie going where it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
we
going.
kept going.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I like briefly disappeared.
We were just laughing like this will be an Edwardless podcast. We've had plenty of podcasts like without Jack, but we've never had a just Jake and Jack or just Edward and Jack podcast.
Yeah, we haven't gotten there yet. I don't know
Haven't
what
had
that
any of
like
those.
power
Yeah.
lost was. I don't know if it's like a heat related thing. I have no idea
I don't know.
because it's
Hot
not
as hell,
raining or
man.
anything.
Dude, you know what I was thinking? I had an idea how awesome would it be if you did I've had this idea for a little while now, maybe like a couple years, but like basically have a crime thriller, but have the crime thriller be in the format of like a Jaws esque creature feature, you know, where like I feel like they kind of do that in No Country for Old Men with Anton Chigurh a
Yeah, for
little
sure.
bit. Yeah. But really just copy the format, like almost beat for beat,
Yeah,
but do it in a crime thriller format like No Country for Old Men.
yeah.
But the idea that I had for it was like basically like you'd have the main character who's like a corrupt detective. So think like Vic Mackey from The Shield or something. And it's sort of revealed that like maybe a year earlier he he apparently murdered a cartel hitman or something, like an Anton Chigurh type character. But now he's starting to get like some breadcrumbs or clues that hitman did not die and kind of faked his death. Is coming back for revenge. And you would
Ooh.
just kind of like, and it'd be like a story about, like kind of dodging consequences. Because like at the beginning of the story, this detective character is sort of like he's kind of gunning for like an immunity deal or something, to sort of like wipe the slate clean and
Mhm.
leave his life of corruption and crime. Um, and then just sort of build like, Godzilla or something is another great example. And just sort of build up
It's
the
a good dog,
hitman's
dude.
return, where it's like the main character waiting for the hitman to pop up is sort of akin to like Japan waiting for Godzilla to make landfall. It's a little idea that I've been toying with.
I like it, dude. I like the idea.
Thanks, man.
Cinematic.
Yeah, dude. I think that'd be a pretty sick crime thriller book.
This is like where the iconic like shot happens, right? The dollying back and zooming in shot. This is it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this is the very no, not yet, but this is like this is the setup to one of the most iconic shots in movie history.
Yeah.
It's coming. It's a greasy fella. It's been spending too much time in
He's
the
like,
sun.
dude, get out of the way. I'm trying to check out the
Yeah,
action
right.
here.
It's like, hey man, there's a shark in the loose here. Jeez.
It's so funny when we do these commentaries, like when we talk over movies, I feel like the movie feels like it's happening so much faster
Yeah, right. You're like
than
it
when
feels like
I
you
actually
like
watch it.
lose a lot of the
Yeah.
movie, and then we like you look
Yeah.
back at the movie, it's like, oh shit, the fuck.
I'm not gonna
Exactly.
lie, I don't remember the last time I've watched Jaws, so I'm like kind of trying to like get into it and actually pay attention because I haven't. I've definitely been a long time. I don't remember like the setup part.
That'd be funny if he said to this guy, like, "Can you move out of the way?" And the old guy was like, "Oh, why? Are you looking for that shark?" And he's like, "No, I just need you to get
I
the
need you
fuck
to
out of my
get out of the
sight,
way.
dude. I don't want to look at you."
Please get out of my way. Please.
Uh,
It's like all stressed. Like now there's all these kids in the water. It's like I can't. What's happening?
yeah.
Where's the dog? Is he looking for the dog? Oh,
Yeah, I think so.
poor boy.
So, do you guys know what the top shark species, the most dangerous species of shark is as far as like deadly attacks on humans?
Is it a bull shark?
I thought it was too, but
I
that's
don't.
only number 3.
I don't have.
Really?
I don't have a guess. I'm not very knowledgeable about sharks. Oh my god! Oh my god! Look at all that.
Oof.
I feel like the only guess
There
that
it
I can
is.
make is that. Oh, there it is. There's a shot. I feel like the only guess that I can make really is that maybe um I don't know, tiger sharks. I have no idea.
Nope, that's number 2.
I got close. What's number one?
It is the great white,
The great
the
white.
shark in this movie.
Huh?
Yeah. I didn't think so.
How many great whites
I knew the
attack
great
happen in a
white was in.
year?
Oh, definitely not many. I mean, the overall record, I have it pulled up right now. 351 known attacks and 59 fatalities. It's
Hmm.
pretty, you know.
But that's like all
But
time.
then tiger sharks 142 known attacks, 39 fatalities, and then the bull shark
Oof.
119 to 26. I used to think it was bull sharks were the most dangerous.
Yeah.
Because I feel like those are the ones you hear about all the time. Like, oh, they're
Yeah.
aggressive. They're bull sharks. They call them that because they're very aggressive.
Yeah, they have to put up
But
those. They have very low numbers.
yeah, I think they gotta put those are you gotta bump those numbers up. Those are rookie
Those
numbers in
are
this
rookie
bracket.
numbers for those bull sharks. Number three,
I
three is
myself
not good enough.
bite at least 2 swimmers a year.
But it's like yearly. It's only like a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, sharks have a
Oh
bad
yeah.
rep. Somebody
I
needs to do
think
some managing on the reputation for the sharks.
yeah. I think a big part of it, if I'm not mistaken, is that I think a part of those fatalities being higher with great whites is because, granted, the overall attacks are higher too, but also if you think about it, a lot of the time when an attack happens, it's what's called a curiosity bite, which is just a shark kind of looking at you, just like,
Just testing.
I
It's
wonder
like,
what this
what
is.
is this?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just tasting you, and a curiosity bite from a big ass great white is going to be way more likely to
yeah.
kill you, I guess, than a bull
I
shark.
saw a video
Because I
of
think
like a
bull sharks
guy.
are like 10 feet,
I saw a
maybe.
video of a guy. I don't know if you've seen this. There's like a video of a guy just like paddleboarding. You know what I'm talking
Oh
about?
yeah,
And
I
the
think
shark just
so.
like starts following him for like a
Yeah.
while.
Oh yeah, I've seen
Ter-
those.
Terrifying video, dude. I watched that like a few months ago. And I was like, oh my
Is it the
god.
one? Is it the one where he? Because have you seen the one where he falls off? Does he fall off in that one?
I don't remember if he falls off, but it's like a 20-minute long video. And he's just like out in the ocean, and then he just notices the shark, and then he just
Yeah.
starts swimming away, and then the whole time, for like at least 10 minutes, the shark is just following him. Just like right behind him. He's just paddleboarding the shark is just right behind him the whole time. I don't think he falls. I don't think he does. I think he's just like very steadily just like going and freaking out.
I think I did see that one. Yeah.
But you might
Yeah,
be
that
talking. I
one's
think you're
like
talking about a
so
different one.
tense because you're just waiting for him to fall in.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've seen one where a guy, the shark bumps the board and he
I've seen
kind
one
of
where it's an
falls in,
where it's an
and then the
alligator.
shark's like right in his face.
Like I've seen one where it's like a guy and it's like an alligator or like a crocodile that bumps him, and he's like, you know what? You've probably seen that one too, or haven't you?
We watched it on Film Tangents like a
Yeah.
couple of seasons
Yeah,
ago.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Those videos are fascinating. And you know what the funny thing about it is that I always feel like those videos are not enough. I'm always like looking for the like something that escalates that and it's never there.
Yeah.
Like I'm always looking for the guy, like I'm always looking for the bear, but it's always like a bear like rushing and then stopping and the guy being like, "Oh my oh the bear." But it's never like you always want something crazy or here he is. Um and it's never there. It's
There he
never
is.
escalates to that.
I know. Yeah, you want to see people get fucked up, basically.
Or I want to see it
That's what
just
you
like
want to
get
see.
closer. Like I want to
Yeah.
see it get like really like, oh my god. Like, there's that video of that one guy like bicycling. I think no, there's like a dude like on like a snow ski or whatever you call this, like a snow bike. And there's like that like there's like a white bear, a polar bear like chasing after him. I've seen that one.
Oh God.
But it's just like they never, you always feel like you want the animal just to push a little bit harder. It's like, do you really want this or not? Do you want this or not? Like it always feels like the animal in
Right.
question is never like doing more. It's always like, oh, they did a thing, like we
Yeah.
got them in the video, but it's never like, oh, and they attacked. It's like, no, they didn't do anything.
Yeah. Like let's see a little follow through.
Yeah, let's see
You
some
know.
follow through. I don't want to see anybody. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. That's not what I'm trying to imply. But I want to see some more commitment from those animals. That's all it is.
Yeah. Oh fuck, that's hilarious,
Because it always
dude.
feels like
I
those
saw
videos
one.
get. It always feels like those videos like take me like on an edge, and I'm like, oh my god, and then it always feels like I don't get anywhere after that. And so I was like, oh, okay, all
Yeah.
right. I guess you survived, and nothing bad happened. The animal just turned around. All right.
Yeah.
Not Jaws though. Not old Bruce. That guy. This shark has commitment, but the issue with this movie is that it's a movie. It's not a
Yeah. B to
documentary.
the Roos. Yeah. Some shit. Yeah. Great whites could learn a thing or two from Bruce, man.
Some
That's like their
commitment.
folk hero.
Yes.
They just worship him. That's a nice ass view right there. Look at that view.
Hmm.
Dude, I saw one I watched one a couple weeks ago where this guy it wasn't the fake one. There's a fake one where a guy in Sydney, Australia jumps off a pier or like a ledge into the water, like into a cove, and then there's a great white. I think that one's been determined to be fake. But there's one, I don't know if it's been conclusively determined to be fake. It looked real. But this guy is on a pier that stretches out into the ocean off of a beach, and he jumps in with a GoPro on his head. And when he lands in the water, his friends are like, "Swim to the stairs right now, swim to the stairs." And so he starts swimming, and he gets to like the pillars that are holding the pier up, and he dunks his head underwater to look, and that great white's like right in his face, like a great white shark, right up in his grill. So dude, he grabs onto the pillar of the pier. It's like a squirrel, dude. And he's just like the shark's like just circling around the pillar, and he's just kind of
Holy
like
fuck!
faking it out, like kind of going, like scurrying around one side and then scurrying
And this
around
is
the
this is
other
like
side.
real. This is a real video.
It looked real.
Hmm.
I mean, it damn looked real. I don't know if the shark was real. You could kind of fake that by like there's like camera tricks you can do, like when the guy like a hidden cut if the guy like puts his head underwater and then you have a hidden cut that cuts to like just some shark stock footage. It could be faked, um but it seemed real. It definitely looked real. I don't know how they would actually do that in this one because you had him dunk his head underwater and he's still under the pier and you can see the pier pillars and the shark's right there.
Yeah,
So if it was fake, it's pretty convincing.
it's a very photogenic shark. It's like Spider-Man. Here, Spider-Man
Oh
was
yeah.
there.
Yeah. The shark takes his own photos.
In
Oh
the movie,
god.
it's like literally the shark shows up like wearing a big top hat, like sells them the shark photos. Like, this is the shark. Here he is.
Yeah, they're like, "Are you the shark?"
No, of
Have
course
you guys
not.
ever seen a goblin shark?
Only
Those things are
because you've
terrifying.
mentioned it.
You think
only,
so?
only,
Is that
yeah,
why?
only under your influence.
Dude, goblin sharks are fucking terrifying. Yeah, I'm a big shark guy. But yeah, those things are terrifying. There is a video out there of a diver. They're like on a night dive, which like that in and of itself is like, holy shit, what are you doing? And this bull or this goblin shark swims up, which those things look haggard and like bites his arm. Horrific.
I think you've shown it to me. Look at this guy. Look at this dope. It's a strong ass shark, dude. He's taking that whole pier with it.
Oh god. Yeah, see, it's like stuff like this that was just brilliant for Spielberg. They were like, okay, the shark's not working today. Let's have this piece of dock attached that's attached to it that
And it
it's
creates so much tension,
lets
just
you
like
know where it is.
following the guy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you don't even need to show it. Because if you think about it too, like films like books take place from the point of view of the characters, so you're not even going to see the shark if you're looking at the events from their point of view. That guy is too jolly.
Look at this little dork.
Oh yeah, here's the scientist guy. Yeah, and the movie follows all the tropes of
Hmm.
those 50s creature features. Like they always bring in
An expert.
scientist.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he usually dies in these movies too. Like a beast from 20,000 fathoms. That
Yeah.
guy gets got, man. The scientist guy
That's
goes
what the
down in a
filmmakers think about
submarine,
them.
and the
It's like
beast just fucks up his
we
submarine.
defeat this beast through intuition and
Yeah,
street knowledge, not through
It's got to be one of the
not
worst
through
ways to go,
science.
man. Going down in a submarine, like that's got to be one of the worst.
oh yeah. Oh my god, can't even imagine. I have nightmares about that periodically.
Like submarine specific, like sinking.
Yeah, yeah, just
Really,
like being in a
that's so
submarine.
specific.
Yeah,
Isn't it like the anniversary of those guys? The stuff that what happened to those guys that went to see
yeah,
the Titanic?
Titanic or
Yeah.
what?
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah. The Titanic tour.
I think a documentary like came out about it too.
Oh yeah, yeah. I saw like a 3D animated recreation of what happened to them in the submarine. Like holy
Mm.
shit, dude. Can't even
Imagine,
imagine
imagine that. How many people were down there? Like 8 people?
something like that.
Terrible.
8 to 12.
Yeah. Terrible.
Yeah, I remember it was like 2 years ago on the RoboCop commentary. We were talking about that.
Wait, we're talking about what?
About the submarine incident.
Yeah, because that happened like while we've been doing the show, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Feels like it happened such a long time ago, but it actually probably only happened like 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was two
Said
years
2
ago.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back in the days of film tangents before we took breaks. We just did film tangents all through the summer.
Yeah.
Really, year round.
Yeah, dude, we did
Yeah,
it year
dude.
round. I think we stopped. I think even back then we stopped like in like around Christmas.
At Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at this guy. What is he throwing down there?
Ooh, they chumming up that water.
Because they're offering like three
Yeah,
hundred
there's
thousand dollars, something like that.
yeah. There's like all kinds of horrific videos on the internet too of like guys going cage diving, and then the great white is chasing the bait that they have in the water, and then it propels itself into the cage with the divers. There's multiple videos of that. It's like, have we not come up with a way to prevent this from happening yet? I mean, I know it's kind of a freak accident, but it's also seems like it's happened enough to where you could just do something to where a great white can't end up in the cage.
How much money would you have to be paid to do that, dude? To be one of those like people that gets lowered in a cage to like swim with sharks? How much money would you have to be given to do that?
I'd probably do it for like $10. Honestly, like I'd do that.
So
10
basically,
bucks.
Jack, you're just thrill seeking. I think you would do that probably just for free on your own time.
Yeah, honestly, I was gonna say free, but $10 would be, I'll take the $10.
My God.
I'd do the ones where, because they have the ones where you can just step right off of the boat and into the cage and they don't lower the cage. I would do that for free. But when they lower the cage down, that's freaky because you're trapped in this cage, and if your
Because the other one's
equipment
just like an
malfunctions,
enclosure, right?
yeah, they have it just right off of the boat. The
Yeah.
cage is like on the surface, so you just step into the cage,
Yeah.
and then you can surface at any point. But when you're lowered down and you're in a cage and your equipment starts malfunctioning, that's terrifying. Like I watched a shark documentary recently, and in the documentary they lower them down like 30 feet, and one of the dudes' equipment starts malfunctioning, and they're like, raise the cage, and it's like, holy shit, man. You're like 30 feet down and you might not be able to breathe at any moment.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
rough.
you think they'd like test it out before they really drop you, but
Yeah.
shit. It would have to be under like prime circumstances though. Like I'm not going out with some random person that, like doesn't look legit and just going
Yeah.
in some random cage dive, but
Mhm. No, for sure.
Or shark.
If there's like a guarantee my equipment would work.
Yeah, but
Free.
Yeah,
but
that's a
it's all
tiger
a gut
shark right
feeling,
there.
isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a
Let's
tiger
see.
shark. Great whites eat those things for breakfast.
Really?
Oh yeah. I don't know how often that happens, but I think it's been known to happen. Great whites will eat tiger sharks. It's not part of their main diet, but they'll do it.
It's a side diet. It's like if I have to.
Yeah. Snack.
It's like they're cousins. It just looks at him funny. It's like, hey man, what are you looking at me like that for? He's so happy. He
Yeah.
really thinks they caught it. It's like, no, you didn't catch it, bro.
Yeah, I was big on like when I was younger, I was big on Shark Week. Like I would watch all those documentaries and there was one where they were doing a documentary on a tiger shark and then they like halfway through the documentary, they're like they had a tag on it or whatever and they were like, "Yes, so the tiger shark we've been documenting was eaten by a great white, so we're that's a wrap on this one." It's like, "Holy shit." Oh, Brody now he's like, "Oh, problem solved. Movie's over."
Yeah, he thinks. He's like so happy. Look how happy and giddy he is. It's like all smiles. It's like, yeah, I did it. We did it. It's done.
Yeah.
Everybody's shaking hands, taking pictures. Oh, there was like abuse, a little poor shark.
And the mayor is just like, "Okay, shut this guy up now. I need to make money."
Yeah, it's like this is not good for the news. This is not good.
The mayor in this movie sucks. Has
Yeah,
anyone
suck.
else ever made that
No,
observation
he sucks. He
before?
sucks ass. He's just he's just some bureaucrat.
Yeah. Well, he's kind of a stock character in these creature features too, Like you have like in King Kong, Carl, the Jack Black character, just like the greedy guy. It's just like, "Oh, let's make money. Who cares who gets eaten?"
Like, dude, I don't understand what the case here is like for not checking. Like, like how do you make a case for not like checking if it was the man-eating shark?
Oh, like cutting it open to see if there's people in
Yeah,
it.
like how are you not on board with that?
Yeah, because the mayor just wants to like just be like done,
Just button it
done
up.
and dusted.
Yeah, he wants to get away
Yeah.
because he wants people to be in the beaches. It's all profit.
This scene's a punch to the gut. See, this is what puts this movie a cut above other creature features and scenes like this, because the stakes are raised. Now it's like personal for the character.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
You got to make like that's the thing with these creature features. To really make a great creature feature, you got to make the stakes personal for the characters. Otherwise, we don't care. Like that's what's so great about Godzilla -1. Like I know Jack, you watched that recently.
Yeah, great movie, man. That
Yeah,
was awesome.
for sure, dude. And it's great because of the character. Like the stakes are personal for him. You know. Oof, rough stuff to live with right there.
He had to take it all in. It's like, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that to the mayor? Why this poor man?
Yeah, right.
Even his hair now is like all down. It's like his hair is not flowy and happy anymore either. Like he's just down.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of my growing up, we've all had those this is I want to be X when I grow up, you know. And like Jack and I for a while it was WWE wrestlers. And I think that was for you, Edward, too, right? Didn't you want to be a WWE wrestler at
I
one
did want to
point?
be a WWE wrestler, 100%.
Yeah.
And Spider
But yeah,
Man.
one of my oh, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
One of mine was marine biologist, but of course, I just pictured myself doing Shark Week shit all the time. And then I realized what you really are doing is just cleaning fish tanks at aquariums.
Yeah, no, very
And I was like,
glamorous.
yeah. And I was like, well, maybe I'll be a writer instead. That'll be lucrative.
What do you think's like? What do you think like childhood job wise like
Little boy looks like
holds
Chucky,
up the
man.
best to like what you expected it to be as a kid?
Uh, you mean like the one that you had as a kid that is kind of most in line with where you're at now, or
No, I'm saying like stereotypical like jobs. So like like I want to be this when I grow up. What do you think? Like which one of those actually like holds closest to like the actual like job itself, or do
Probably
you think they're all
firefighter.
just glamorized? Yeah, firefighters like
oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
yeah, because like like being a cop, like I mean that's
Yeah, being
not
a cop
like
sucks
what you
ass.
picture.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it sucks
yeah.
ass. Is this
You
an
could not.
office job where you also then are like in conflict?
you
Like,
got to wrestle rednecks all
yeah.
day.
And you have to do like a mountain of paperwork about it. Being a cop is not a fun job. It's not easy. I mean, none of these jobs are easy, but that job's not fun. And what you think you're getting into out of it, you're not getting into out of it. A lot of people that I've met that are former police officers, are just kind of disgruntled with their experiences and have like wounds in their body that were produced by flying speedy projectiles.
they've
Um,
been they've been dragged across concrete, perhaps.
yes, but
Yeah,
I think I think firefighters are usually like, yeah, this is what it is, you know. And the thing about
yeah,
firefighters too is that you can be like a volunteer firefighter and actually do the actual firefighting job as long as you're trained. The rapper that passed away this year, Ka, he was like a volunteer firefighter. So I think
yeah,
maybe firefighter is pretty up there about like, when you're a kid and you think about what they do, that's actually what they do. And
yeah,
paperwork.
exactly.
That's a good answer because anything I can think about, like doctor, like nah, that ain't what it's like. Astronaut, especially, maybe one of the furthest from. I mean, I think the cop's probably the antithesis of that question, but like astronaut, like not what it's marketed to be. Uh,
They don't
there's
even
not
send
really a
people
whole
to
lot of them.
space.
Yeah,
I guess they do in the space station or whatever, but that's it. They don't go to like the moon anymore. They don't. No one's on Mars.
yeah.
They just send robots. Robots. That's a great question, Jack. Quick side tangent because I'm very interested in this question you brought up, Jack. But speaking of cops, I saw this video like 2 weeks ago. There's like this. One of my guilty pleasures is police body cam videos, and there was a there was one a couple weeks ago of this like bald meathead roid rage guy who got into a fist fight with a cop. Like, so he's like escalating with the cop at this traffic stop, just screaming his face off. And then at one point he swings at the cop, and the cop like puts fists up, and the roid rage guy puts his fists up, and he has the
This is
cop
body
on the
cam
back
footage.
foot. Yeah, and he has the cop on his back foot, like he's like advancing forward, and the cop's backing up, and the roid rage guy, just keeps going, "Yeah, come on with it, come on with it, come on with it."
Oh my
And then
god.
he does, by the end of the footage, he does get shot in the stomach. Um,
Oh, that's unfortunate.
but yeah, but he survived. He was like
That's
out of the
part of the
hospital
video.
a few days later. Yeah,
I can't see stuff
yeah.
like that, dude. Like I've seen videos like that before, and it's like that kind of stuff's unpleasant. That kind of stuff's unpleasant, dude. Because every time I see those videos, it always makes me. It like sinks into me like how squishy our bodies are.
Oh
We're so
yeah,
squishy, we're not
yeah.
like human bodies are very like malleable and like yeah. It
Oh,
upsets
for
me when I see
sure.
that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah. He whoops the cop's ass. Like he pins the cop against the
So there
car,
was like the
and
last
like
resort. It's like I have to shoot this guy.
Yeah, so what's amazing is the cop's body cam actually falls off, and then it cuts to civilian footage because someone was
Really?
filming it from a bridge,
That's
and then
ridiculous.
he
I mean,
tries to tase
the
the
bridge cut
guy.
is hilarious. Like when it cuts
Oh
just like a
yeah,
far away shot.
it is. It looks like a Safdie brothers shot, basically, like just one of those like wide, far away
Like you're
shots where you
watching
see it.
The Conversation.
Yeah, it looks like Uncut Gems, you know?
Yeah.
You know how like Uncut Gems has those really wide shots that look like just someone's watching from
Yes.
afar?
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah.
And so he tries to tase the guy knocks the taser out of his hand. And then he shoots the guy. And I'm just thinking, like, dude, what did you think was gonna happen when you knocked the taser out of his hand? You have now relieved him of his less lethal
It's like
option.
escalated. It went from I'm gonna deal with you with my fists. And I was like, well, I'm
Yeah.
not capable, so I'm gonna taste you. And it's like, well, that's out the window too. It's like I don't have any other options.
Yeah, that's the.
That's
I gotta
ridiculous.
send you this video after the pod. Remind me, I'm
Yeah.
gonna send it to you. But the craziest thing about it is like when you're watching the footage, you really realize that despite the fact that the cop is the one who's in a position of authority, you know damn well the second he steps up to this guy, just the second he gets out of the car and the guy gets out of the car, you're like, this cop stands no chance against this guy.
It's like a
No
huge
chance.
guy.
Yeah, yeah, the guy's huge.
Fighting Brock Lesnar. Oh my god.
Basically. Come on with it. Come on with
That's
it.
what's funny
Come
about
on with
like
it.
that's what's so funny. I'm just thinking about like GTA 5, like when you like, because you know I loved doing that. For some context,
yeah.
like in college, a lot of the time to unwind from the hardships of the day as a film school student, we would play Grand Theft Auto 5 and just listen to
Yeah.
hip hop for the most part. And one of the things that I loved doing, Jake loved causing like mayhem and getting a bunch of like stars and driving around and making things explode. But for me, it was like fighting people.
Yeah.
I loved just like picking fights with random like civilians and with the police because they would square up. But the second that you start, like in GTA, the second you start getting like a little bit of like wind on the police, they start shooting you. So the fights are always
Yeah.
like cut short. I hope they fix that in the new GTA.
You know, it's
I
funny,
hope that's why it's
like
been delayed. It's like, oh, we have to fix the police fights.
Edward, I always loved like when you were just like sprinting down the sidewalk and you just throw like a haymaker,
Oh,
just
yeah,
sucker
dude.
punch, and you just because
Yeah.
you used to be able to just one shot people with that like haymaker.
Damn. Yeah, that was the best.
That was so satisfying. And the auto lock would like jerk your character forward too.
Yeah.
So like you would basically Superman haymaker them from like 5 feet away sometimes if you got the like auto lock on them. Like
yeah.
that was so satisfying. Yeah. But yeah, Jack, back to your question. The one that's closest, like when you're a kid and you're like, I want to be X when I grow up.
I guess a teacher's pretty damn close,
Yeah,
honestly.
a teacher, or I mean, you said doctor isn't, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like a doctor's pretty spot on, don't you think?
It depends. Because I think when you're a kid, I think kids generalize what a doctor is. But then a doctor
Yeah, they think it's
can
just a pediatrician.
Exactly. And it's
Yeah.
like you can be anything in terms of that field. So I feel like it's about like the specification. Because I think a lot of kids think about being a pediatrician when they're kids, but it's like, oh, there's like
Yeah.
shit ton of different doctors. So I think that's kind of the caveat for that. But for sure, teachers are exactly what you imagine because you're watching it happen in person. And as somebody who's been a teacher, was a teacher for a year, it's exactly what you even from behind the scenes. It's exactly what you're looking at from the front of it. So it's just a person like sweating and like and juggling a bunch of different balls in the air.
It's like, please be quiet.
Yep.
Stop talking.
Listen, I'm trying to talk about the precedents. Yeah.
Edward, you remember that one? We had an English class, like first year of college, where we showed up and no one in the class had the assignment or like had watched what they were supposed to do. And then the
So,
teacher did that thing of like, well, I'm just going to sit down at my desk and not teach then.
those classes, those college classes are so awkward, man. Like when everybody shows up and nobody's done what they were supposed to do, and the teacher's like going around being like, "So this happened. What do we all think?" Crickets.
Right.
It's the
Like,
most awkward.
Nobody
dude,
read the like 2-paragraph
Yeah.
article
Chirp.
they wanted
exactly.
to
Like, dude,
chirp. Yeah.
those would be, and that happens like, and all those classes are early in the morning, so it's like 8:15 on November, and it's like freezing outside. You walk your ass to class, you sit down, and the next thing you know, you didn't do the thing, nobody did the thing, the teacher is all in on the thing. They're all in. That was their curriculum for that day. That's what they were trying to do. And they're just asking questions to silence. And there's a guy that maybe glanced at it. And every now and then, like every fifth time, they would be like, "Oh, this," and the teacher would be like, "Yes, great." And so then they would ask like a follow-up question. Crickets. Like we had to suffer through so many of those. Those were like peak awkwardness, because you feel bad for the teacher and you want to maybe like help out in the situation, but you're powerless.
Because you're like, well, I didn't do it.
Exactly. It's terrible, dude. Terrible.
Oh, this is the jump scare.
It is the jump scare. It is.
This is like where the face comes out, right?
Yeah. You ready for this, Jack? Ready to be spooked?
Oh God. Ooh.
Oh my God.
This is timely too, because this is like the 50th anniversary of this movie. I think this movie just had a re-release too.
I thought this is one of those movies that's always having an anniversary. Like there's always a Jaws anniversary. There it is.
Yeah. Yeah, we've kind of been on top of it this season with these re-releases, with Revenge of the Sith and now Jaws.
Just drop all your tools.
Useless.
I have never
He's
understood
not a real pro,
just
dude.
the balls to get in the ocean at night. Oh my God, dude! Could you guys do that? Do you think?
Like, would I do it if I would? Like, would I do that?
Like, do you think you could if it was like somehow asked of you?
No, I don't
there was
think
a
I could.
reason to.
I don't think I could.
Yeah.
It
What
would never
about
be
you,
asked
Jack?
of me. I have
What
no
was the
skills.
question again?
I have no ocean
Could you
skills.
get into the ocean at night, like off a boat, just like that guy did?
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, definitely.
You think so?
Yeah. What are the odds something's gonna actually happen? Like,
God.
Dude, I have a fear of the ocean. One,
you're saying like diving?
I barely know how to
like
swim.
diving in the dark?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's like asked of you. Somehow it's asked of you. Like you got to go dive in the ocean for something. Like say what that guy just did. You got to swim around in that dark ass deep water. Oof. Scary, dude.
I don't know. Actually, on second thought, it'd be tough.
I couldn't do it. Like if they told me, like if they gave me like a very like motivating reason, I wouldn't be able to do it. Dude, I barely know how to swim.
If they were like,
like,
we'll give you like 50 grand to do it, would you do it?
No, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Well, I don't know. 50 grand. I don't know.
50 grand's low enough to where like it's still not like.
Yeah. It's 50 grand gonna
life changing.
If it's life changing money, I'd probably do it.
Because I think let's
I'd be
create
shitting
like,
my pants the whole time though.
Let's create like a scenario. It's like the middle of the night and it's in the middle of the ocean. So you're deep in the middle of the ocean, and you have to go in there to do exactly what he did. Not like just because like you're going in the middle of the ocean. There is like a dangerous assassin shark, and you're going to explore like a weird ship, just like this guy did. Like this is the scenario. This is the exact scenario that we're in. I wouldn't do this shit.
Yeah. No, if there's a killer, if there's a known man-eating shark out there, no.
Yeah, no chance.
In the premises,
no chance.
Yeah. No. It's I mean, it's where there's no place a human being is more powerless besides space. But I mean, if we're just talking about Earth, like planet Earth, there's no other place that a human's more powerless.
Dude, and I always feel unsafe.
Night.
I always feel unsafe. Like I was at the ocean last week, and even just being, like just being like knee deep in the ocean, I was like, I don't feel safe. I didn't even feel
Yeah.
safe, dude. I never feel safe
Oh
in the
yeah.
water.
It's the untamed realm, man. It's not our realm.
Like literally, dude. Like I was literally just like, I got to the point where I was just like, about like a little bit above my waist, and I was like, this is as far as I'm willing to go. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't want to do this.
Oh, dude, Jack, do you remember when we were at Seaside, Florida? We fucking gave our moms a heart attack, dude. We swam out to like 13 feet of water, probably.
Really?
Yeah, and they were
The water was
yelling at us.
The water was crystal clear in
Oh, pretty
Seaside,
nice.
though. Like, I don't know if I could do that in murky ass South Carolina water.
Yeah, it was
But in
murky.
Seaside, Florida, the water is like pool water.
Yeah.
So we could see everything. But even then, though, like we would swim down in like 13 feet of water with our goggles. And I'm telling you, I would look forward and you're just looking and like after
Endlessness.
15
You
feet in
can't
front of
see
you,
anything.
there's just gloom.
Yeah.
And you're just like, there
That's
was
terrifying.
a huge part of me that's just like waiting for that shark face to come out of there. Yeah, just to emerge.
I can't do it, dude. I can't do
Dude,
it.
our moms like went through the fucking roof. at
Yeah,
that.
oh yeah.
They were like,
that
get your
was-
fucking asses back on the beach.
we're like, what are you yapping about? Like, it's not that big of a deal. We're just swimming.
Yeah, like a couple of cocky 15-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they were right. I mean, I would fucking have a bird if my kid was doing that. Because like it is, like riptides and shit. That is, the water was really calm that day. But you never know, man. With the ocean, like a riptide could just hit suddenly, and boom, you're fucking done. It's an unpredictable realm.
Yeah, dude. I don't even feel all that confident on land.
Yeah.
Like I feel like when I'm on land, I'm like still working. I'm only like at 90% of my capabilities. So it's like
Yeah.
water. I just feel like I have nothing. I have nothing, dude. I can't do it.
Mm.
No water challenges for me. You can bet me any money I won't do it. Just keep your money. Keep your fictional
I feel like
millions.
this is like the moment on so many podcasts where like some guy will be like, "No, I feel completely safe on land all the time. Nobody fucks with me." Like literally, some guy at a gas station one time
On Fresh
made a
and
face
Fit.
at me, and I said, "I'm not the one, bro." He just turned, he just walked away. It's amazing to me how many like podcast hosts and guests speak that way.
Yeah, but like, what's the issue? Like, I don't understand, like dudes' insecurities. Like,
I know.
because when you listen to stuff like that, it's just like you're just the most insecure person on the planet, man.
Oh yeah.
Like any semblance of anything that could be perceived as weakness has to be like, like stepped on, and it's just like, man, you're a pussy. Like that's really ultimately what that is.
Oh
It's like
yeah.
if there's a human being that's like your MO with everything, it's like that just at the very least, like to me, that just like screams like insecurity. Like something happened, like if you're acting like that, something happened to your ass. Like something
Oh, for sure.
happened, you were put down in some way, shape, or form, or embarrassed, and now you feel like you have to compensate for that forever. And it's like, go see a therapist. Like like you have to somehow
That's so true.
overcome that,
Yeah, for sure.
like because I feel like if people are acting from a place of trauma like that, it's like you can't be more of like a robot. Where your decisions are not even you're not even making your own decisions. That look at this poor look at these poor people. Like the conversation, the poor lady looks so terrified. The conversation of, oh my god, look at all these people going into the water. The conversation of free will itself goes out the window because if you're just acting from this place of like pure trauma, and it's like, my god, man.
Oh yeah. I think I read somewhere that because there's that whole Dunning-Kruger effect, which essentially states that I forget the exact definition, but essentially the Dunning-Kruger effect is like the less you know about a topic, the more stubbornly you'll attempt pretend to know about it. I'm butchering this. Let me
It makes
pull up the
it's making sense what
definition.
you're saying.
Yeah. Dunning-Kruger effect. Cognitive bias, where people with low ability in a specific area tend to overestimate their competence, while those with high ability tend to underestimate theirs. So essentially, what I read was that for men, the most common example of the Dunning Kruger effect is with fighting.
Yeah.
Like, because every guy is like, I could kick someone's fucking ass, but all the guys who say that like have like never done martial arts
Right.
training, you know.
They're
But
just going off of
that's
a
the
feeling.
irony. Exactly, that's the irony, though. Like I've done Muay Thai for a few years now, Muay Thai kickboxing, and you really realize like when you're doing Muay Thai, especially when you're a beginner and you're fighting, you're sparring. Like I sparred with fighters who actually do professional fights,
Yeah.
and you realize like you're not that tough. You have a long way to go and a big learning curve.
Right, but there's always somebody. There's always somebody like there's always a bigger dog, and that's also I think the thing that
Exactly.
people always need to understand. Even when you're Jon Jones,
Yeah.
there's like, oh no, this is a guy. This guy's younger and faster than me, So it's
Hmm.
like there's always like a curve to this stuff, Um, yeah, reality. Yeah.
Oh shit!
This is like a
There's a
boy,
fin
right?
right there.
Isn't that
Oh
like a
yeah,
fake?
yeah. It's a prank.
Yeah,
You're right.
it's just a prank, bro.
Coming back to me.
It's just a prank.
The water on the camera like distorted that guy's
It really
face.
did, yeah. It distorted him. But at this point in the movie,
Yeah.
doesn't the main character know better? Because at this point in the movie, he knows that because they already opened up that shark, they looked into it, and all there was in that shark's belly, like the tiger shark, was just trash. So he knows they have the wrong shark, and somehow he's letting the mayor still like let people get in the water.
Well, yeah. So I think it's not really his
Cole,
decision,
yeah,
but so that's why they got all this security there. But
trying
yeah,
to be
the mayor
proactive.
like forced his hand basically.
Uh,
But they do a good job with raising the stakes because now it comes to a point where it's like shit. Like we have to just face this thing head on and go go get it.
yeah. Well,
We gotta get
thank you for adding
Quint.
some context. 'Cause I'm like barely like keeping up. Like every time we watch a movie in the podcast, I'm like, what is happening? So we watched Madame Web, and at some point I think you remember Jake. I was like, who is this guy? And he was like, oh, this is the guy from the beginning, like the villain of that movie. Which funnily enough, recently Dakota Johnson like even pushed harder. I don't know if you saw that because she said
Mm-mm.
that the reason she like completely took the blame off of herself. She was like the reason why the movie was terrible was because of too much intervention. She was like she said
Mm.
basically that there was like no one guiding voice of the movie. She said that the movie was she said something along the lines of the movie was made by a comedian, that's why it sucked. Basically.
Oh, that's crazy. She's probably right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
not her fault.
It's not her
She didn't
fault.
write it.
Although then somebody else, I forget who, but an actor or actress came out basically saying like actors should stand by their movies and not like poo poo
Mm.
them. And especially like talk about superhero movies. And I felt like that was like a clear like shot at Dakota Johnson. But I do appreciate Dakota Johnson like speaking out and being like, this movie
Mm.
sucks because of the producers and the studio and all this like interference in these movies.
Yeah, because she might have read a better script before they
Exactly. Before she signed,
chopped
when
it
she
up and
signed on for
Frankenstein.
the movie.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh damn. Yeah, you know that's real. It's got the two fins.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. I contend that the most beautiful footage on the face of the planet is the image of
Oof.
great white sharks reaching out of the water. Have you ever seen those videos?
I don't know. I mean, if I've seen them, I just don't.
Yeah,
I
I
can't put
don't
my
think
finger
so.
on it.
Because they do it. The reason they do it is like when they hunt seals, they. Oh my god, that's the first look at it right there. Oh god, that was scary. That was pretty scary right there.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. There's that face. Oof.
Damn.
Oh God. Somebody get a gun and shoot it. But yeah, what they do is when they hunt seals, like the seals will be swimming kind of near the surface of the water, and they'll kind of follow them from below the shark, and then the shark will gain momentum and
How many
swim
seals?
really at full speed up toward the surface
Hmm.
and then hit the seal as hard as they can, and that momentum carries them clear out of the water.
I
So
don't think I've
they
ever
go,
seen
I
that.
mean, oh dude, you gotta look up footage of that. It's beautiful.
How
I
many
mean,
seals?
sometimes they leap
Huh.
clear out of the
Like
water
dolphins.
10 feet. Yeah, like 10
Wow.
feet in
My
the
God.
air, and they'll do like a backflip or something, and it's just that momentum because they hit them so hard. And it is the most beautiful nature footage like ever captured, in my opinion.
Have
They
you
get the footage all the
have you
time.
seen that? Have you seen that
Um,
like on YouTube, or is it like a documentary stuff? You've seen it on.
yeah, they're all over YouTube.
Hmm.
Yeah. And
I
they
was,
find new ways to get the footage. Like they'll drag like one of my favorite shark documentaries ever is a documentary called Air Jaws
mhm.
that was on Shark Week. There's been a few of them. And what they'll do is they'll drag a seal decoy across the water with a boat, like behind the boat, and just wait for a shark to breach the water.
Stupid shark getting
Yeah, yeah.
fooled by a seal decoy. But now it's
Well, you know
personal
what's
for him, man.
funny
His
about
son
that
almost
is
got by
isn't
the shark.
in one of those, what happens is the sharks actually get smart to it, so they have to build a better seal decoy. Because the sharks will actually, at the last second, they'll like slow down and then dart away
Yeah, it's like, hey,
because they realize, like, oh, it's fake.
this is not a real seal. It's pretty
Yeah,
funny.
yes, dude. So they actually got to go to a workshop and get like a lifelike seal built to
Wow.
like get them to keep doing it.
I was gonna make a bad joke and be like, how many seals are there? And by seals, I was gonna refer to Seal the musician.
I don't know. I don't know who that is.
Hilarious.
Say what?
Who is that? Seal?
Seal, look him up. He's a musician. That's his whole name, Seal. He has like a big scar on his face. He's like kind of like
Oh,
a
yeah.
R&B kind of musician.
Okay. Never heard of this guy.
Yeah.
Is he good?
Yeah, he's out there getting haunted by sharks.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
dude, I have no idea
Yeah,
whether
dude, getting
Seal's good or not because I've never listened to his music.
oh, it would really suck being a seal, dude. Getting hunted by sharks all the time.
Are they like their
Damn,
main like food source?
Yeah, in South Africa they are.
Hmm.
There's a place called Seal Island. It's like off the coast of
And it's
Cape
just
Town,
sharks
South
eating
Africa.
seals, so that's all there's happening with it.
Yeah, like the
That's
seals just gather
hilarious.
on the beach, but then they have to go into the water to eat them to eat fish,
And then
and
they
that's
get
when
eaten.
they're yeah.
That's hilarious.
Dude, there was one where there was one scene in one of those Air Jaws documentaries where the crew, the film crew, they're on a boat and they come across a seal getting hunted, and the seal is using the boat as cover, and the shark is like fucking smashing into the boat. So they're like, get that fucking seal on the boat now, so the shark doesn't
Get
sink
it
the
on
fucking
the boat.
Yeah, yeah, they actually pull the seal onto the boat to like so that the shark doesn't sink their fucking boat.
That's hilarious. How smart are seals and sharks? How smart are they in comparison
Well,
to humans?
seals are mammals, so they're smarter. Seals are like pretty smart, I think. I would assume they're smarter than
Not
dogs.
smart enough to move somewhere else.
No,
It's like,
right? Yeah, yeah.
hey guys, there's a shark. There's a shark issue that we're having. Or like a big committee.
Yeah, we're having a problem. Sharks are dumb. Sharks are really dumb. They're not smart.
Smart
They're
enough to
pure
not,
instinct.
smart enough to kill the seal, one, and two, to eventually be like, hey, this is a fake seal.
Yeah,
Smart enough to do that.
yeah. They're like bare bones, like kind of Just they operate mostly on instinct.
I see.
That's why like orcas kick their ass because orcas are a little larger than great whites, but the main thing is that orcas are high. They're like the most intelligent animals besides humans, basically dolphins overall. And orcas gather in groups and launch coordinated attacks on their prey. So that's why great whites just get their asses kicked by those things. Here's Quint, dude. What a legend. Sometimes they go away, sometimes they don't go away.
He's so quotable.
Oh yeah.
They got all kinds of shit in the kit for this.
Oh yeah.
Finally got out of the little rowboats trying to take this a little seriously.
Oh, I forgot the boat's named the Orca. It's a good name, considering orcas kill great whites.
Yeah.
Kind of poetic. Yeah, they had a lot of Jaws knockoffs after this movie, and one was a movie called Orca, and it was basically a jaw, kind of like Jaws, but with a killer whale instead. I've seen that one. One's all right. This guy's a legend. Edward, you've never seen Orca, have you?
I have. I mean, like the documentary.
No, you're thinking of
I
Blackfish,
think
I
about
think.
Blackfish. Yeah.
Yeah, Orca's the Jaws knockoff that came out a few
Oh,
years
I have
later.
not.
It was
I've
an
not seen that.
Orca. Yeah,
But
that one's all right.
but what's the mortality rate between those guys and humans? Because don't they like generally not attack human beings?
Yeah, it's only in captivity
Yeah, they
because
get violent.
people, people like, yeah, you put an intelligent animal in,
It's like I'm gonna beat you guys up.
a tank,
Yeah, that's what I
chlorine
learned.
tank. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I learned
yeah,
from
but
that movie,
they don't kill people. Yeah,
from that
yeah, in
documentary.
Blackfish.
Yeah, that they get anxious and like really they don't really attack people, but they're scary looking. Like they're kind of scary. They're kind of like intimidating.
Oh yeah, with those big like white spots on their
Yeah.
face, they look like it looks like war paint.
Yes, they're intimidating.
Those big white spots on the front of their head, it looks like war paint. Like they just painted it on like they're going into
It's
battle.
like I'm gonna beat you guys up. I'm out
Yeah.
here to kill some humans. What do they eat
Yeah.
normally?
Seals, sharks. And it was like the fucking seals can't catch a
Those poor
break. Dude.
seals, dude. What about them?
Dude, I saw a
Just fatty
video a
or
couple
something?
weeks ago. Dude, I saw drone footage a couple weeks ago. If anyone's interested in this stuff, go look up on YouTube. Malibu artist. He captures he works with marine biologists. He captures incredible footage via underwater drones and aerial drones. Incredible oceanic wildlife footage, and he captured with an aerial drone a pod of orcas hunting a humpback whale, and they bring that thing down, dude. They're like, it's sick. I mean, they like, it's disturbing. I mean, they twist off its flippers and shit.
Damn.
It's horrific. Those things are brutal.
Orcas don't play.
No,
Why
no,
are
and
they
they'll
like
like,
that? Like, are they mainly like kind of like carnivorous?
oh yeah, they're only carnivorous.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're purely carnivorous. Um,
Why do they attack humans less than sharks? Just because they're a little smart or something? What's going on with that?
Because they're smart. Yeah, they're smart enough to know that humans just aren't prey, I think.
Hmm.
Because that's the main thing. Sharks, a lot of times, is just mistaken identity or territoriality, or just like I said, curiosity bites. Like not knowing, like, let me taste this thing.
Is this chewy? Can I eat
But
this?
yeah,
Doesn't
but
look like a
orcas
seal.
actually. Yeah,
Might be though.
exactly. But orcas, like, I mean, they've captured footage of dolphins and even whales. Like, I saw footage of a humpback whale. Like, actually, it was like swimming toward this diver and pushing him toward the boat,
Hmm.
back toward the boat, and they didn't know why. And then they figured out there were sharks in the area,
Huh. Was trying
and
to save
the
it.
humpback whale was actually, yeah, like pushing the guy back to the boat, being like, "Get back on the fucking boat. There's sharks." Like carrying, they're actually very intelligent.
Hmm.
Whales and dolphins. They're semi like affectionate animals.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why they're able to put them in SeaWorld and make them dance and shit.
Yeah.
'Cause
Poor creatures.
yeah. Yeah, you can't put animals that intelligent in captivity. It's
But they still do that, right? Like with the whales, I think they stabbed. I think they had so much bad promo they stopped doing that. At least
mhm.
in some places, maybe not all of them. But did they still do that to dolphins?
I think I don't know.
Somebody needs to do a documentary about dolphins. But I feel like the issue with dolphins is that they just take it. Like dolphins just go like, yeah, I guess this is it. But those whales that
Yeah,
get
yeah,
aggressive and depressed with
yeah.
their fins getting all twisted up. I guess dolphins are just cool with it.
Yeah, SeaWorld still has dolphins,
Mm.
which orcas
Huh.
are dolphins. They're a type of dolphin. And yeah, it's just like it's like let them things go. Free Willy, dude.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's like, oh,
Let me
we'll keep the dolphins. There's no bad rep about them. They're not getting all sad.
Yep, so here's your answer. There have been no fatal wild orca attacks on humans.
Hmm.
There are numerous accounts of orcas interacting with humans in the water without incident, and even some instances of playful behavior. While there have been encounters between orcas and humans, no fatal attacks have been documented in the wild.
That's pretty surprising.
Yeah.
That fishing pole is something else.
In 1972, a Californian surfer was bit on the leg by an orca. This is the only well recorded attack of a wild killer whale on a human. Huh. Yeah, they're nice creatures. But we fucked with them.
We did.
My girlfriend and I were talking about this because we were talking about animal attacks, and I'm like, dude, the way animals like probably look at humans, like humans are probably we're like the orcs of planet Earth. Like other animals, they probably look at us and they're just like, "Oh fuck, no, that's where humans are. Like, don't go there. That's like
Yeah.
those are the
Extinction.
Badlands.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like that's where
Poor
the orcs
deer.
are, dude.
Yeah.
They'll kill you on sight.
Yeah.
Like they'll kill you, boil you, eat you,
Yeah. Seen it
put you in
happen.
cages. Like, dude, humans are the most savage fucking creature on the planet.
Yeah, we're it.
Which again, I know that's a rote observation, but it's interesting to think about how we look to other animals.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. Because humans are the worst thing to everything. Other
Yeah.
humans, animals,
Oh yeah.
the land, the planet,
Yeah.
to everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It
We're
would be
sounding like
interesting to see
Agent
that.
Smith right now, dude.
It would be interesting though to see that like from an animal's perspective, like how they think about humans. But some animals like sometimes get a little bit too comfortable around humans. Sometimes you walk by a
Mhm.
deer and the deer will just look at you like, all right, man, just keep it moving, keep it pushing. They just
Oh
act like
yeah.
you're not there.
Yeah. No, in Yosemite, when I went stayed in Yosemite National Park for a little while, and the deer there are
Unprotected.
completely used to humans. I was within like arm's length of a deer at one point.
Yeah, but that I mean that like where we're at, it happens all the time. Like where we're at happens all the time. When we go for walks, like on the trail here, we walk by deers like all the time, just like
Oh, really?
arms length of these fucking deers. They're everywhere, everywhere. And
And
every time,
they're just cool with you guys?
yeah, they're cool. But every time I'm like sketched because I'm always just like, is this deer gonna fight me? Like, am I gonna have to punch this
Yeah.
deer? I'm always like sketched because I never know what's gonna. Like, you never know. Like when you're around wild animals, you never know if it's gonna escalate. Oh, this is the okay. They're setting up that shot. You never know how it's gonna escalate with animals, even when they're just like herbivores, like just minding their own business.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, because it's like a trust thing between humans and other animals. Because it's like the way other animals attack people is the exact same way that humans attack other animals,
Hmm.
you know?
Hmm.
It's like for the same reason. It's like, well, I don't know what I have to attack you before
You
you do
attack me.
something
I don't know what
stupid.
your capabilities are.
Yeah,
I don't know what
yeah.
you're incapable of doing.
Right. Yeah, uh, I'm thinking again about Jack's question about, career
The
paths.
Jaws.
It's kind of funny because I do have, like, thoughts sometimes. I know you and I have talked about this before, Edward, where, like, I'll be, just plugging away at writing, which is, like, thankless and, you know, produces no rewards for very, very long periods of time.
Yeah.
Um, and, it's like, dude, sometimes I am just like, man, what a thing it would be if I had just always wanted to be just like something that was something
Something
like a
else.
doctor or a
Yeah.
lawyer
I
or
think about that
something
sometimes.
that's just totally within your grasp.
Yeah,
Like you
exactly.
totally can do it, you
Yeah.
know?
I think about that sometimes, especially because, in my upbringing, my mother wanted me to do something specifically. Like she had wishes for me, and I was like, I don't want to do that. And
Yeah,
sometimes I
yeah.
think like, what would life be if I had just done what my mom asked me to do, which was to become a
Yeah. I
lawyer.
mean,
It's like, what would have happened?
yeah. Yeah, because like for me, it's like I just have no choice. I don't think about anything else besides storytelling. So I just know that whatever else I do, that would always just be kind of the monkey on my back, of like, oh, I gotta write, I gotta tell stories. Like I like movies, I like books, I like, these are the things I like. So
Were there things where your parents, for you or for you, Jack, were there things where your parents were like, could you do this? Like, did you ever feel like your parents were trying to guide you in that direction?
No. I didn't really feel like I feel like they were just like, I don't know, my parents not necessarily like hands off. They're very supportive of like the things that I picked that I wanted to do. But they signed us up just like as kids for like a bunch of shit, just like a bunch of music, played a bunch of different
So you guys
instruments,
could figure out
played
like
a
your
bunch of different
interests.
sports, and then I really kind of picked what I liked and they just kind of ran with it from there.
Hmm.
Careers wise, going to school, like any of that shit, they didn't have they didn't have any input on where they wanted me to go. It was just like never some like about like what they wanted. So it was pretty much entirely up to me.
Would that have made a difference to
So
you? Like, would you like? Is that like in retrospect? Would you have valued that, or do you actually appreciate the way that they went about it?
it's hard to say because I think uh that it's kind of taught me in a way to like or at least taught the lesson that it's like you have to be very intentional with like the things that you pick and want to spend your time doing.
Hmm.
Uh if it's like fully in your control and you pick the wrong things, like it just doesn't go well. Like I mean, like my college thing, I picked a school going to USC just because I wanted to, do business school and just like party. And like that didn't
Yeah.
really I transferred out of there and ended up going to a different school doing something else. Um and so like uh I think I would have valued it a little bit more than what I had was just, some advice pushing for things, like being
Yeah.
like, more intentional with like, oh, like what do you want to get out of like this sport that you're playing? What do you want to,
Right,
what are
right.
you looking for when you're applying to these schools? Like what's important to you? Like,
So it's almost like a middle
being more
ground
like,
where it's like you're
yeah,
still kind
yeah.
of guiding the ship, but just having maybe a little bit of like suggestions.
I think I had a lot of leash in some ways, and then in some weird ways, not a lot. Like they were always like wanting stuff like, oh, like college applications, like I want it to be done, like by this time. Like I want it, like on your back about getting stuff done,
Hmm.
but not necessarily like as concerned with
What specifically it
like
is.
what direction the ship was heading.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I get that. I get that. It's
I don't know
interesting
if
for
that
me
makes
because
sense, that whole spiel.
no, it makes complete sense. Like I get exactly where you're coming from. It's interesting for me because for me, there's like a little bit of like I guess we could say like a cultural difference where it's like where I'm from, it's kind of expected from parents, you know. We're not even expected. It's just kind of like a cultural thing where parents are just like more meddling, and they want to tell their kids specifically what they should be doing. So there's a lot of that, you know.
Yeah.
But my mom was very supportive of my life choices, but she also made it known like what she wanted to do. She was like, "You want to go to film school? You're like, movies great, but I want you to do this." So there was kind of that for me.
That's an
Um,
interesting way to approach
yeah,
it.
like she completely supported what I was
Never really
doing.
heard of that.
Yeah.
It's usually like one or the other, but
No, 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 no. She was completely supportive of like what I chose to do, and
Yeah,
proud.
no, I get what you're saying, Jake. It's usually like instead of like saying like, "Oh, I respect what you're doing, but like this is what I think you should do." It should be like, "No, you're doing this because I think you should do this,
Yeah.
and fuck
yeah.
what you want to do." Yeah,
Because that approach has never made sense to me. The whole idea of telling your kid like you're going to be a doctor like your father before you, it's like people are individuals. You cannot tell somebody what they love,
Yeah.
and that's what gets the work done is love. That like that is why the statistics are very clear on like how like a lot of American workers, like in the office or whatever, you always hear those stats about how people don't are unproductive after hour like number 27 or whatever, and then the average employee actually spends 20% of their day not working and all this stuff. And it's because they don't love it. Like no matter you can try to willpower your way into something all day, but if you don't have love for the thing, you can't do the work, you know? So like
yeah,
telling your kid like, "Oh, you're going to go do this, pursue this career path." If they don't love it, it's like, it's not even going to produce not only is it, kind of abusive, but it's setting that aside, it's just impractical because the kid is most likely not going to be able to follow through on it.
yeah,
You just don't have the willpower
It's interesting. I also
to
think
to
I
do
also think that in a
something.
way that's like kind of like a Western thought, right? Because I feel like if
Yeah.
we like in countries like China and Japan and a lot of kind of those Asian countries, there's a lot of social expectation and
Yeah.
family obligation. People actually do these things and do live in these ways. So I think there's like an element of that that is like Western, for sure.
Yeah.
Kind of like this very individualistic Western approach to life. In a lot of countries, in a lot of different places, and a lot of people in those countries have like a more communal thought of like how they're supposed to go about their business and about their lives. But I definitely think it's interesting. But anyway, like how does this where do you land? What is your experience with like Jack and I kind of talked about it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, well, and I just want to add to what you were just saying. Like, I feel like the Western way of thinking, I think it's probably, I don't have any, stats to back this up or anything, but just kind of going off of what I've observed and heard from people, it seems like it's less common in the West to say like you must be a doctor like your father
Yeah,
before you, or your teacher or whatever.
yeah,
But it is very common, I think, to be like you have to do something practical, and being a drummer isn't
a hundred
practical,
percent.
or you have to
Yeah,
go do something that's like an actual job.
yeah,
Like it's generally a Western. It's still very ingrained in the West, I think, especially like boomer parents and stuff, and just parents in general, I do think it is like if your kid's telling you, "Well, I want to, like be, part of a road
I want
crew,"
to
or "I
catch
want to,"
bees.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, or like when I say road crew, I mean like what do you call the people that follow bands around and set up their
a
speakers and shit.
groupie.
Just just interesting, like weird kind of business cards. The parents are like, well, I think you should actually go to school for marketing, and um, you know, which nowadays is hilarious because it's like, and every career path is people are like struggling to find jobs. So it's like,
Yeah,
you know, even with college degrees. So it's just like it really doesn't matter. You got to kind of just go with like what you like and are good at. Like
yeah,
it can't just be what you like. You have to also be competent at it. But for me, my parents were weirdly the opposite, where they almost kind of like pushed harder for my dreams than even I did. Like,
interesting. Yeah.
which I,
I
which
think I've
I,
heard you say that before to me. Actually, now hearing you say that.
yeah, which I appreciate because I was growing up, I was very susceptible as a kid through my teenage years. I was just very susceptible to like peer pressure and trying to fit in and trying to be cool. Um, and it never worked. I was like, just, I was a loser, dude, in high school. I was a loser. But, dude, like, and, my parents, they just knew me. Like, so they knew I loved films. I loved storytelling, books. When I was a kid, it was always like all the I want to be X when I grow up. X was always film director, cartoonist, novelist, TV show creator, something in that realm, something in the realm of like media creation. So something in the artistic realm. So
They wanted you to lean in into the geek inside that you were trying to avoid.
yeah, so I would have a lot of phases where I would lean into it hard, but then I also had phases where I was like, I think I just want to kind of be like a normal kid and like,
Mhm.
I don't know, just like not do that stuff and be cool,
Yeah.
and my parents would be like, "Knock it off, like, don't." They were like, "This is like," like they were like, "You're in school for like 4 or 5 more years. These years go by fast.
Yeah,
Like, think about go after what you want to do."
yeah,
They would sniff that bullshit out and shut it down and be like, "No, dude, like you're doing this film program." Because I remember telling them like, "I don't want to go do that that high school film program. That's
yeah.
stupid.
But
I
they
don't want
knew
to be a
that they
nerd."
knew inside of you they wanted to, and that was the best thing for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they were like, "Just stop," they were like, "Stop worrying about being a nerd or being perceived as a nerd. Just, like, go after what you like doing," and so they were I really am grateful for that, though, because just for whatever reason, the way my mind was wired when I was younger, like, it was like there were certain periods of my life where I was just, like, fucking full in, didn't care. I was like, "Yeah, I'm a mega nerd, and this is the stuff I like," but
mhm.
then there were, like, probably an equal number of phases where I was like, "No, I wanna be, like, cool and not a nerd," and that
Yeah,
means, like, like, I'm not gonna be doing any of that stupid film stuff.
yeah,
Which kinda also points to a weird, like, kind of extremist mindset, which I think I kinda blame that on my OCD, you know? I think that's probably a product of my OCD kinda
yeah.
swinging, like, full on one way or full on the other way. Um, oh, here's the famous
Yeah, this is
speech.
it, yeah.
They all come in.
Cut to Steve Jobs.
Turned out that no distress signal had been sent. Oh god.
Hmm.
We delivered the bomb.
Yeah, pretty interesting hearing him talk about that stuff. Um,
Yeah.
a lot of survivors guilt in this guy, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
yeah.
a great scene.
With that light just kind of bobbing, like it's just
I
that
love the lighting of the
it's
scene and
just
the
perfect.
atmosphere.
It's perfect.
Yeah. Just that dim, warm lighting. I
Yeah,
love that in movies, and then just seeing the ocean outside
yeah, just
at
coming.
night, it's just
Yeah,
ominous.
yeah,
There's like a comfort of just being in this cabin. It feels very safe, but then in the background, you just see the
yeah. You're
danger.
reminded of it, and also and also the fact that because they're in this boat and this is like the thing is just kind of bobbing up and down like that, it unsettles you. There's like an unsettling feeling to this, like.
Yeah,
There's nothing steady, not even the lamp. The lamp, everything's shaky. Um, and then cut to the
yeah.
exterior. Very fascinating. Very, I mean, great, great, great scene.
Yeah, you make a great point there. It's like it's reminding you that they're in a flimsy object,
Yeah.
because it would probably feel too safe if the boat wasn't bobbing up and down
Yes.
like that.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Boom. It's Johnny.
Oh my god. Start the engines.
Wow. The calm
Oh
before the
god.
storm, fellas. Let's go.
Yeah. Maybe when we come back, we should have a Film Tangents reacts to shark videos segment.
That would be great.
That'd probably be good.
Oh, I'm down.
We'll have to compile some videos. I want you to
Yeah.
show me what you got, Jake. You seem to have a lot of knowledge.
Uh,
Knowledge.
knowledge. Oh, I forget what the reason is that the scientist even goes down in that cage, because he goes down in a cage, right?
I don't
Yeah, I
remember.
think so. I don't remember. Eh, Maybe I don't know. Just maybe to get closer. I don't know. That seems like a dumbass plan.
I don't remember why they send him down, but they do. Be right back, boys.
There's been like some planes in the. Have you noticed that, Jack? There's been like some planes in the background.
Yeah, yeah.
This is my first time noticing that. Very calm. They survived through the night. These guys didn't sleep all night, just like trying to battle this shark and keep this thing going. Funnily enough, their boat's named Orca. I don't think I catch that until now.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Just gonna poke it. Just like teasing the water to see if the shark will come up. Hmm. how old is this guy supposed to be? Because funnily enough, like in the context of the movie, he only looks like maybe a few years older than like the main character.
Yeah,
Like
but
he
he's
doesn't
supposed to be
look
like a
that
World
old.
War II vet.
Yeah.
I guess he could have been. He's probably well. If you think about it, this is 1975.
Yeah.
He could be 50, and then maybe he was 20 during the war,
Yeah.
1945.
Yeah. It could be 50. What a psycho.
Holy shit! I don't remember that.
Dude, why did you have to do that? There's no reason to do that. But this guy's like he's like on a mission. This guy has a death wish. And he wants to bring all of them down with him.
I can't believe he did that. I don't. I didn't remember that.
So
Jesus.
brain dead.
Damn.
It makes sense he would do that though. I mean, because he clearly is just like on a death wish, like mission to fight this shark.
Yeah. It's interesting this like lighthearted music
I know,
playing.
right? It's like, what is up with this like little triumphant like music? Like this like little Home Alone music.
Yeah.
Ba-da-doo,
Probably giving
ba-da-doo-doo-doo.
like probably trying to give the audience false hope.
Yeah, right?
Maybe
It's like,
like,
oh,
oh,
they're
it's an
really doing it.
adventure
Yeah.
because there's some horrific shit that's about to happen.
Yeah. They're really doing it. They they're
Yeah.
getting it done. Forget that this is a movie where we've seen people died horrifically.
Yeah.
Remember, Edward, this was our producing professor Bob Goss's favorite movie.
Was it really? I don't remember. I feel like I've I've like
You telling me you've
erased.
erased Bob Goss's teaching?
Yeah, but not not him or his teaching, but a lot of the things that had to do with a lot of the things that happened and were said during his classes. I think I just kind of, I think at some point my eyes like glazed over, and I would just transport myself from the beginning of the class to the end of the class.
Oh shit,
You're like, oh, it's over. Let's go.
dude! Goss was so cool, man.
I do have a lot of positive feelings for him. I think he's a really cool guy, but
He was a cool guy.
the classes got me a little sleepy at sometimes.
He'd smoke a cigarette outside with us.
Yeah, it really
during
would.
break.
Yeah, it was mostly his character that kept everything going, but
Yeah,
um,
dude. He'd flick that cigarette once he was finished with it. He'd flick that thing like 20 feet.
yeah.
I've never seen someone flick a cigarette so far.
He's got that skill.
Yeah,
He shot
dude.
that shark like 20 times. Shark's still going.
Thing's trucking. The thing's 20 feet too. I looked it up the other day in preparation for this movie. Um, and I think the biggest great white that's ever been recorded was like 15 feet, maybe
How big is one in this movie? 20?
20. Yeah, largest. Let me double check this. Largest great white shark ever recorded.
This
Oh,
really is 50 years of this movie, huh? This year.
yeah, that's crazy. Oh yeah, estimated to be 20 feet, but that's estimation. Deep Deep Blue is the name of it.
That shark.
Okay, the largest reliably measured great white was 19.7
That's
feet.
pretty
Yeah,
close.
we can round that up to 20.
Yeah, for sure. It makes the shark in this movie pretty believable in terms of size.
Yeah. Jaws shark size
Oh my god.
25. But I thought they said
Jeez,
20.
how
In the
about
movie
looking
Jaws,
when he goes next time?
the shark is depicted as being 25 feet.
So it's
But
25
I
in this
swear to
movie?
God, but I swear to God, Quint said 20 feet like
Hmm.
earlier in the movie. Maybe they're just talking about how the camera depicted it. Like
Yeah.
maybe Quint was wrong.
Quint's strong.
Maybe Quint's an idiot.
He is an idiot.
Yeah.
He made up all
He
those
did just
war
destroy that
stories.
radio equipment. Yeah.
Like that,
Stolen valor.
dude, that whole story that he made up is fake. He's just a
Are you
bozo.
you're accusing Quint of stolen valor?
Yeah, dude. He's just a bozo. He didn't do any of that. That's a story he
Pretty
heard.
big accusation, Edward.
But it's part of his gimmick, you know. It's part of his it's part of his style he has going. So he's just a con artist. Also, somebody should
Oh man.
like AI superimpose Quentin Tarantino into Quint.
Yeah.
Put his face on it.
Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh dude, I remember I
Oof.
saw this. I just remembered this other video. Ooh,
Ooh.
this other video I saw of great white. I did see a great white attack caught on footage a long time ago. It's on like a camcorder from the boat, and this woman's swimming in the water, and she's trying to make it back to the boat, and this great white swims up behind her and bites her leg off. She's just screaming, man. She survived, but you know, one fucking leg.
Why is it that so much of these like videos of like wild animal encounters are shot like it's fucking like Bigfoot encounters
Right.
with just like potato cameras and like terrible quality?
But I saw a joke the other day. Someone was like, "Dude, the real problem with Bigfoot is that if Bigfoot's real, it's a very blurry creature. So we just have this blurry creature walking around in the woods."
That's why all the sightings are so terrible.
Yeah, it's because the creature itself is blurry.
He's blurry.
Dude, I've been going. That's like a guilty pleasure of mine. One of my many guilty pleasures that I've talked about on this podcast. I mean, you know, like right up there with Chris Hansen videos. One of my guilty pleasures is cryptozoology. You know, like Bigfoot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think we dedicated like a whole episode to that. It's going on Wikipedia.
No, we went deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went deep on that shit.
We did, dude.
Yeah, but dude, for the past like couple weeks, I've just been going like deep, like just during the workday. I've just been like putting on like Bigfoot analysis videos on in the background, like why the Patterson Gimlin footage is actually real and can't be fake. You know, it's interesting, man.
It's always people like
I gotta say, like
for something. It's always people like going to bat for like some like waste of time thing, you know. Like there's always people doing that, man. It's like find a job, do something else. Don't be like, oh, why this exists or oh, whatever. Like okay, this is why the Loch Ness monster actually exists.
Yeah.
Like okay.
Oh yeah. Do you think that Bigfoot video is just a guy in a suit?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, most likely.
Yeah.
Most likely it's a guy in a suit. Or just something that resembled something else, you know.
Yeah.
It's either one or the other. I don't think Bigfoot's actually a thing, you know. I doubt it.
I gotta say, man, like, I think
you're biting.
I mean, the Loch Ness monster is.
You're gonna next thing I know, you're gonna tell me that
bullshit.
Huh?
We've talked about like how the Loch Ness monster is bullshit. We've talked about that on the podcast. Like, I think like if we're talking like okay, the Loch Ness monster in the strictest sense of the strictest definition, a plesiosaur that is swimming around in the loch. Is that real? Almost certainly not.
Yeah.
Bigfoot, I'm like kind of 50-50 on Bigfoot. Like I could see it, you know, because like all the tracks that they find.
You're drinking the tea, aren't you? You're watching all these videos and they have you like nodding like quietly to yourself.
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
Maybe he's making some valid points.
Well, here's the thing, dude. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Like, there are some points that I'm like, "No." Like, there's some things that they say that I'm like, "No, that's stretching it."
Yeah.
But there are some very interesting points that
Now,
they make. Because if you look people take for granted that I know, like, Joe Rogan and people like that try to make fun of that video, like, it's so obviously a guy in a suit, but
right.
the thing is, like, if you have a far away, grainy footage of a gorilla walking around on 2 legs, that's gonna look like a guy in a suit.
Right,
All
but that's
apes
why I said though
look
that it's
like
like
people in suits.
that's why I said that it's either faked or it's just something that resembles something else. It could have been like a different thing that just kind of looked like something else, but it was just like, you know, a guy in a suit.
Well, it would have to be I mean, it's either a person in a really, really well-made suit
Yeah,
that's, like, beyond Hollywood capabilities in the
yeah.
'60s, or
I wouldn't say
it's
it's
a
beyond.
fucking upright walking ape,
Right.
that lives
But
in
then
North
but then
America.
the issue is if it actually exists, is it still alive or did it die off like at some point or after that video was taken?
Well, there would have to be a breeding population, like, it can't just be one Bigfoot,
Yeah.
because that nobody's saying that.
I don't know, man. You have to
I mean,
call
the
it. You
thing in
have
the
to.
thing if the thing in the video is a real Bigfoot, then it's
It
probably
has to
dead
come from
now. That
somewhere.
was in the '60s.
Yeah, like, but you have to color me non-believing. I'm gonna say nay. I don't think
Yeah.
if I had to say right now, I would be like, no, it doesn't exist, and I would have to like watch like some very convincing arguments about it, because otherwise,
Yeah.
that's all we have. That's all we have. I feel like we have more shit that are, like that could. I feel like we have more stuff out there that could be more conclusive towards being like, oh yeah, there's aliens. They've visited Earth and they've come here and seen us. But there's more evidence that would be convincing towards that argument than the Bigfoot argument.
No, I disagree with that because the thing with Bigfoot, there are actual primatologists. I think, for instance, I do think they have jumped the gun. I don't think you can conclusively say that the Bigfoot species exists,
But you think it's like
but
you think it's like a more plausible argument than saying that aliens exist and they might have visited Earth.
absolutely. We have multiple videos like that because everybody thinks of the Patterson Gimlin footage from the '60s,
Yeah,
but there's actually multiple videos out there over the years like that, where it's again, admittedly, like kind of far away, but it does look like some sort of ape, bipedal ape walking around or sometimes running like in the
but
distance.
aren't
And there
there
are some
apes that are
videos where
capable
it's
of doing
like
that anyway?
yeah, yeah, but the whole thing with Bigfoot is like this would be in North America, which currently we don't have any non-human apes, that live in North America.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
this
but
one they
there's
make
also
the cage.
yeah, but there's also the footprints. So they've found like there's anthropologists and primatologists that study these footprints, and they found incredible detail in these footprints. Friction ridges like you have on your, fingerprints, basically, that's how they get a fingerprint. But then there's also, like, scar tissue, because they make these molds and they come back with the detail. It's not just the shape, they come back with the texture, and there's evidence of friction ridges, scar tissue, flex points, right? So, like, when you step on uneven ground, your foot muscles are flexing, on and on and on, just different anatomical things that they find within a footprint. Now, yeah, again,
I think that if
some
it
people
existed, they
do
would have found it.
underestimate the
I think they would have found it. I think it would be found. I think
there
it would
are
be.
so there are yeah, but there are answers to that, which again, I don't think you do have to if you're making the claim that Bigfoot exists, you have the onus is on you to support those claims,
Yeah,
right? So, like saying yes, absence of evidence is not evidence of absence, but um at I can't remember where my train of thought was going with that, but so what you're saying, Edward, is true. However, people do overestimate how easy it is to actually find in places like woodland areas to
yeah.
find skeletons, animal remains, basically. like nobody finds like deer bones or you know bobcat bones in the woods
Yeah,
because like the Pacific Northwest is not conducive to fossilization, basically.
yeah,
So if there is a small, like as small as possible population that's still large enough to breed, it would be like beyond a needle in a haystack to actually find those remains. So it's not like you're just taking like 1 acre of land and being like, hey, like if there was a Bigfoot here, we'd find it by now. Like there are uncharted areas that people can't that are extremely difficult, if not impossible, to get to, whether on foot or by vehicle. And
yeah.
again, I don't want to sound like some Bigfoot believing nut here. I'm
That's what
just,
you're coming across. Jack, is he coming across as a Bigfoot
no,
believing nut?
No, no.
Jack's saving you, dude.
yeah, right, yeah, thank you, Jack. I thought Jack was
Leave it
about
in
to
the
roast me, dude.
comments if Jake is coming across like he's trying to sell us all on Bigfoot.
No, I'm just giving the credit.
No,
Because
I know
here's
that
the
you're
thing.
giving like
This is the
the
thing with
caveat. I know that you're giving kind of like the nuance, like
I'm being
element.
open minded.
Yeah,
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 exactly.
I'm approaching it with an open mind
I think
because
the
here's
issue
the
with me
thing.
is I think the issue with me is that I don't care about Bigfoot.
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't care either. Like,
Yeah,
there's a Loch Ness monster, a freaking
yeah,
Sasquatch, or
Sasquatch.
what's the other one in the
The Yeti.
yeah, the Yeti. Like,
Mm.
I don't.
There's a
and
I
bunch
don't see
more.
the evidence for. I don't see the evidence for the Yeti. Well, there's like hundreds of cryptids, like proposed
yeah,
animals, and some are very plausible, and some are like, I would say Bigfoot's in like the mid range, where it's like, because this is the point I was going to make, is like belief in Bigfoot, or even like open mindedness in Bigfoot toward Bigfoot, it has become a meme that like Bigfoot has been memed and it's become associated with backwoods Pacific Northwest
But you're
hillbillies who
saying it's
grow their own
warranted.
pot.
That's the point you're trying to make.
No. The point I'm trying to make is that people basically belief in Bigfoot or even being open minded to Bigfoot has been relegated to backwoods hillbillies that grow their own weed. Like it's basically you're like a nut. But when you really boil it down to its essence, all if you're open minded to Bigfoot, all you're really open minded to is that there is a small breeding population of ape that we just haven't discovered yet in
Yeah,
North America.
and
And it's not that crazy,
no,
you know.
and like when you put it that way, obviously it's like, of course, because we have,
Because they didn't discover the billy ape. Sorry to cut you off. I was just going to say there's a subspecies of chimp called the billy ape, and
Mhm.
they didn't discover that until like I think the 90s or the 2000s, and that was like a Bigfoot type thing in
Yeah,
Africa.
yeah.
But the population was just so small that they hadn't. But go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like I agree with you because like when you put it this way, it makes complete sense to at the very least say you know that there is logic to being open to that as a possibility, because of the unexplored elements of this whole thing, right? Um, so no, I agree with you 100%. Do I think Bigfoot exists? I don't think so.
no, definitely not.
But
I'm a
No.
very yeah,
but if it turns out that he does,
0%.
I'm not gonna be like super surprised.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. Like I don't.
Damn, there it
Again, I'm a
is.
skeptic. I don't accept any claim until there's sufficient evidence. And I
Yeah,
don't think I do think that there are scientists who study Bigfoot as if he already exists. And I think they are making a mistake. Oh, here comes Quint's demise.
that's what he
I think it's
wanted.
pretty fitting. I think it's pretty fitting that we're talking about Bigfoot on a creature feature
Oh, 100%.
commentary.
I think the interesting thing with Quinn, because Quinn's like a tragic character.
Oh,
Because I
yeah,
think Quinn wanted this. Like I
yeah,
think he wanted this. Like what I gathered, and obviously I've been paying like half attention to this movie, but what I feel like he was trying to put across when he was telling that story, and he said that he wouldn't put a life jacket on the night again or whatever, is that he
yeah,
wished he had gone down with his mates. and then he was just living with his survivor's guilt, and that's why he trashed the radio when he was trying to, signal for help. Because I think for Quint, in his mind, he was like, "I'm gonna either kill this thing or die trying, or just die here."
Yeah.
Um,
This is terrifying. Right?
yeah.
I think you're spot on, Edward. I agree with that. He's a little bit like that pilot guy in The Mummy that we watched a
Oh
few years
yeah,
ago.
yeah. The guy was happy.
And Connell, sometimes I wish I'd gone down in flames and glory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the final battle.
But yeah,
Back to
I
Bigfoot.
think those, you know, I think those like primatologists and anthropologists who, they're like, there's like there's one anthropologist that says like, I don't even believe in Bigfoot. I just study that species as if it's already recognized because I think the evidence is really clear. I think that's jumping the gun. Like that's a bit far. Because for a species to be recognized, and I checked, I was curious, there needs to be, in most cases, 9 out of 10 times, a specimen. Like, we need a specimen. There's no way around it. Like, footprints, grainy video, it's just
It's
not
not
enough.
enough. It's not enough. That's ridiculous to claim that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like,
But
come on, man.
but yeah, like the Loch Ness monster,
He's just
that's
poking
like
at
the
it.
opposite end of the spectrum where it's like what is the evidence for the claim that the Loch Ness monster is a plesiosaur? It's like why even it's like the most you could say is that there's just a big ass fish. And you and I looked it up on that episode that there's like a 20 or like a 15-foot catfish that lives in that lake. And it's like, yeah, dude,
So
you'd shit your
maybe.
pants and think you saw a dinosaur too, a marine reptile.
Great shot.
If you saw that thing.
Iconic shots. I love how this movie ends. Like, I love the whole idea of this boat sinking. This guy, like, we literally have all the stakes here. Quint's dead. The other guy who knows where he is, and this guy is on this sinking boat. And he's literally, like, actively sinking right into the ocean. He needs to do
Yeah.
this, and he does it. Wonderful.
Yeah, he has it's do or die.
Literally.
It really is a perfect scene. I mean, it's a perfect climax.
Explodes. All these chunks. And for once, we get to just see the shark's blood be the one that's filling up the ocean with red instead of humans.
Quite poetic.
Yeah, incredible movie.
Yeah. But you're right, dude. That really is a great climax. The thing sinking, do or die.
Yes, especially like that.
No choice but to blow that thing
When
up.
when Spielberg shows that wide, which they probably only had like a take, maybe another one that they did of that, to put all those pieces back together of just this boat sinking, and you have the main character just like actively sinking into the ocean. I mean, come on, man.
Oh yeah,
Like he is.
Yeah, this movie's so good, man.
They did it. And funnily enough, this movie like ends like almost immediately after this.
Yeah. Now they start making out.
Yeah, right.
It looked like they were about to start making out.
Because he has his arm on him, it's like he's like touching him.
They're like giggling. He's like,
"Where's Quint?" Well, Quint's on a suicide mission.
Yeah.
It's like you know what? We shouldn't have trusted him. Should have gotten a different guy.
Quint's kind of an asshole because, like, it's like if you were by yourself on that boat, destroy the radio. But he made the choice for those other two to.
Yeah.
He kind of deserved that.
And now they just paddle away to the little kicking back to the land. End of movie.
Dude, if that was me, I'd be like, I would not feel safe at all.
No,
until we
not
got
at
to the
all, dude.
shore.
Because they don't know that was the only shark. Like, they don't know.
Yeah.
They have no idea.
Oh, that's Jaws.
That's it. Yep. They kill the shark and the movie ends immediately. And a minute later, it was literally 1 minute and the movie ended.
Yeah.
Stevie was like, hey, wrap it up. That's the movie.
Well, you can't get a more perfect summer special,
No,
film tangent summer special than Jaws, the original summer blockbuster.
that's right.
So with that, everybody, we really appreciate you joining us for the first half of Film Tangents. Like we said, we'll be back in mid to late August. We will update you guys on the community page as we get closer to that time. But until then, everybody have a great summer. Be safe. Wear sunscreen. You know,
Do wear
do all
sunscreen.
that
It's
good
hot.
stuff.
With a
Yeah.
heat wave on the East Coast. Everybody stay safe, stay cold. Like
Stay
Jay
Yeah.
said.
hydrated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
stay
Stay
hydrated.
hydrated. Mhm.
And stay watching.
Hydration's key. Get that Gatorade Zero.
Stay watching and listening to Film Tangents. We'll be back in
Yep.
no time. We'll be
Yep.
back on your TVs, on your screens. Uh,
Mega
yes.
recaps.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. And when we're back, we'll all have big white bushy beards. We'll be old as
Be
fuck.
old, dude.
Yeah.
Be weathered.
Yep. But
Oh,
thank you for listening, everybody.
yep.
Happy summer. Be safe. Have fun. Live your lives. And we will see you in August. And that's the mid-season finale of Film Tangents.
Hey, thank you,
Until
everybody.
next
Next time. See ya.
Bye bye.
That's it.